So the main topic that you guys see is Joy Taylor says dating religious man is a red flag. Dating religious man is a red flag. I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip. Let's go ahead and react to it. Here we go.
Is non-negotiable for you?
I'm less and less interested in religious men, if I'm being honest with you. I told Paul this the other day. I don't know. You hit me with the man of God thing. I says,
but you say God a lot on your podcast.
God?
Yeah, you be like, God, oh my God.
Oh my God. No.
Oh my God is different.
Oh my God is
than
different than being a
God.
man of God. If you're leading, I don't know. I've just had some.
So this
I've
is
had some
interesting.
negative experiences with people that lead with their religion.
Are you religious? As a
Not
woman?
really.
No. So
I would say I'm a person of faith, but I'm not. I
Okay.
was raised in a Baptist church, very, very religious family. I don't think that just because you're a Christian that you are, not living a good life. I'm just saying if that's the first thing that you bring to the table, it's a red flag for me
you
because
feel
I
like
don't
they're hiding
care.
behind their
I
religion.
don't care. Why? What does this
Something
matter to
happened
me?
with that before. That's what that happened.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Multiple
you might
times.
have a trigger behind that.
I
for
do.
Sure.
I do.
Yeah.
I absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm acknowledging. I'm triggered by this, and it's
Yeah.
it's become a red flag for me. I'm
Wow.
not saying that if you believe in God that you are a red flag. I also don't give a fuck. So just tell somebody else about it. I think for some men they think that that's what women are looking for, like
Yeah.
looking for a good Christian man,
Yeah.
and some people are, but just not me.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. That's the first part. I'll play the second part momentarily. Miss Callie, since we got you on about to say on the radio, on the show, since we got you on the show, I'm going to kick it off with you. She mentioned something about women not looking for Christian men. What are your thoughts about that?
I think that that's kind of false. I think that most women, they do have their preferences, but I don't think it's right to just say like, oh, women don't care about this because like, okay, speak for yourself. Not every woman thinks the same way that you think. It's okay to have your own preference, but to throw like all women in the same vicinity, I feel that it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of like, oh, well, you speak for yourself. Well, like some women actually really, most women do, at least the women that I know. As far as her, I think she just has like, maybe she just dealt with the wrong people, or she had a bad, like she said, she had a bad experience. It traumatized her. And now she's like, I don't want a man of God, which honestly, it sucks because we find that a lot in people. They'll have a bad experience with like one or two people and think that the whole like group of people that have that same belief is the same way, and it's not. You gotta start. Your traumas are nobody's problem but your own, and you need to learn how to work through that and learn how to really cope with that and understand that not everybody is the same as the last person that you dealt with.
All right. Brittany, did you see that video with Joy Taylor?
I did not.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna send it to you on IG so you can take a look at it, and then I'll come back to you. But I'm gonna go to your truth table. What do you think about what she had to say?
I think Joy Taylor's a whole demon, to be honest with you. Just this lady never got nothing positive to say. I think she gets attention because she's relatively attractive and she's on TV, but she's always finding a way to somehow dismiss what's positive. And she just needs to be honest. She doesn't want, I believe, a man that's going to hold her potentially accountable. You know, so a man has structure, belief, whatever it may be. A man of God, if he's truly a man of God, he's going to have standards. So she don't like it. That's cool. But she doesn't seem to like much of anything when it comes to men. She may not even really like men, to be honest, because I've never heard this lady say nothing positive about men. And I'll land it there.
All right. What about you, Luis?
Well, if she doesn't want a man of God, she's used to a man of Satan. That's really what she's communicating, because what is the opposite of that? What is the reciprocal end of that, right? If you're not looking for a man of God, you don't believe in one, you're looking for a man of Satan. I mean, as far as the question is concerned, are women looking for a Christian man? I gotta be, honestly, I know it sounds very popular, but I don't think most women really are. I'm gonna be honest with you. At least not their actions reflect it. I think there's a strong collective community of women who are, but I think that unfortunately the loud minority has the louder microphone and the louder presence, and that's what tends to be shown. Because I always say, move with actions and deeds and not words and lip service. She's essentially a whole demon. Somebody hurt her along the way, and she has not healed from that, and she has not recovered. That's why she's been on a man bashing sequence ever since, and she needs to go on a spiritual journey herself. The very same thing that she's kind of fighting against. So find that it's a red flag. How you?
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play it again, Brittany. I know we got Dad here too. I'm not sure if she's seen it, but here's the first part of the clip that we are responding to right now. And welcome to the show, ladies, man. Let's give a welcome to Dad and Miss Brittany Gold. It's good to see you, young ladies. Here we go.
What else is non-negotiable for you?
I'm less and less interested in religious men, if I'm being honest with you. I told Paul this the other day. I don't know. But you hit me with the man of God thing. I says
But you say God a lot on your podcast.
God.
Yeah, you be like God. Oh my God.
Oh my God. No.
Oh my God, it's different.
Oh my God, it's
talking
different
about
than being a
God.
man of God. If you're leading, I don't know. I've just had some.
So this
I've
is
had some
interesting.
negative. I've had some negative experiences with people that lead with their religion.
Are you religious? As a
Not
woman?
really.
No.
So I would say I'm a person of faith, but I'm not. I
Okay.
was raised in a Baptist church, very, very religious family. I don't think that just because you're a Christian that you are, not living a good life. I'm just saying if that's the first thing that you bring to the table, it's a red flag for me
You
because
feel like
I don't
they're hiding
care.
behind their
I
religion.
don't care. Why? What
Something
does this matter to
happened
me?
with that before. That's what that happened.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Multiple
you might
times.
have a trigger behind that.
I
for
do.
sure.
I
Yeah,
do.
Yeah,
I absolutely.
yeah.
I'm acknowledging. I'm triggered by this, and it's
Yeah.
it's become a red flag for me. I'm
Wow.
not saying that if you believe in God that you are a red flag. I also don't give a fuck. So just tell somebody else about it. I think for some men they think that that's what women are looking for, like
Yeah.
looking for a good Christian man,
Yeah.
and some people are, but just not me.
You heard Miss Joy Taylor. She said she's not looking for a Christian man. It's a red flag. Brittany Gold, how do you feel about what she said about Christian men?
I mean, I think everyone's entitled to their opinion. She did point out that she doesn't have an issue with she's not saying that she's against faith or belief in a higher being and all of that. She's just not big on religion. So I mean, at the end of the day, even if you want to start talking about religion within Christianity, the power is through the Holy Spirit. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily the rituals or any of that goes on within Christianity and even some other religions, right? Every religion has rituals. The power is through your faith, through your belief, through your acknowledgement of God. So I don't see anything toxic about what she says. She's just not big on religion, like a lot of people nowadays.
All right, Miss Da Simone, what you feeling about this whole Christian man?
My personal experience, I don't have issues with Christian men. Never had issues with Christian men. Christian men have good conversation, seem like they're in touch with their spirituality, which means they're more in touch with me. So that's my experience. But I have heard women, especially women who are like in their 40s, that confide in me, just tell me that a lot of men who do lead with Christianity is a red flag, comes off as controlling or manipulative. Like if one of my friends, a guy she was dating, he knew the Bible better than her, so he would use that to get himself out of situations when she would feel attacked in their relationship. So everybody's experience is different. The Christian man I dated never led with Christianity. So yeah, that's just my take.
All right, go ahead, Brother Hink.
What the question is again, Jal?
Just your reaction about what Joy Taylor had to say about Christian men being red flags. How you feeling about that, man?
Well, I mean, being that she's a heathen, that she is, I think it's right up our goddamn alley. We know how Joy got to where she got. She got knocked down, knocked around. You know what I'm saying? Beat up and down in the probably in the boardroom, in the office, maybe even in the lunchroom. Who knows? But we've seen how she moves and operates, and she also even was the one who made a statement. If she doesn't get that promotion, she's willing to put out a lie on a man in order to get what she needs. That means she has to go scream, wolf. She'll do that. She's willing to do that. So I'm not surprised by what she's saying now. She doesn't want a Christian man, because then that Christian man's gonna hold her to a certain standard which she don't want. That Christian man's gonna hold her to a certain level of accountability which she doesn't believe in. So yeah, I'm not surprised by this and the way she's moving and operating. She is what it is. You got to let a hoe be a hoe. So we'll see how that goes for her.
Now, Hank, like, what makes her be you to call her a hoe, man? What has she done? Like, has she done anything that's
JL, it's not about what she done, it's about who. It's about who she done. She done made her way around to the high levels, the higher ups as far as at the Fox. You know what I'm saying? She was sleeping with him, knocking him down. She had an issue with the where she befriended the hairdresser. She was sleeping with a couple guys. Some say Skip, some say Shannon Sharp. You know what I'm saying? A few other guys who's probably working there currently now is knocking her down. I mean, your boy, what's his name? Acho. I think he might have knocked her down. Matter of fact, one time I think he tried to wife her up. And I hopefully somebody got in his ear. She can't make a hoe into a housewife. I'm just saying. So there's a few guys that's been around her area. So that's what makes her what I call
her. Okay, I think I remember hearing some stories about that came broke some months ago. Here's the second part of that clip. So let me go ahead and run that. You guys good? Y'all seem kind of stiff. I take a sip of water or something. Loosen up them lips a little bit.
I'm about to get my wine right now.
Oh shit! You done did us bad, JR. You heard that?
Okay. All right, here we go. Go to the second part.
That's my thing about religion too. Like, like man may not like lead with it, but like some men needed to pull them out of places. Like when there's nothing else. Like I felt like religion like helped me pull me out of some dark places. And like I believe
religion or faith.
Faith, probably faith,
right?
More so than like,
because to me those are two different things.
Okay,
believing in God, having spirituality, having a connection with your spiritual side, praying, all of those things I do.
Yeah,
but
same. But religion is different.
To lead with like like let's go to church on Sunday.
I'm Christian, I'm Catholic, I'm Baptist, whatever it is, that's like your religion versus I'm a man of faith because I pray, I believe in a higher power.
But also for me,
to my spirituality.
I feel like a lot of men that are extremely religious think that if we get together that I'm going to start doing that, and like I'm not.
Yeah, I haven't been to church in a minute, but I pray. Yeah, and I have faith. Yeah,
which you're a man of, you're a spiritual.
You're a spiritual person, and we all have a spiritual side in some way or another. But spirituality and faith and religion to me are two different things. But it is a trigger for me, so I understand that it's going to sound crazy to people.
Have any of you guys ever had bad experiences? And it could be for the men too, as far as with a woman. Have you had bad experience with dating somebody that was just overly religious?
Yeah. I had someone break up with me before, and I asked them why, what I do wrong. They said, you did nothing wrong. God just told me that you're not the one for me. I said, okay. I mean, when I literally asked him, I said, what did I do wrong? Was there something I could do better? Like, what can I do to fix? He said, no, I just prayed on the relationship and God told me that you weren't the one for me and, to break this up. And I said, okay. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to look at the next person that believes in God and think he's just going to leave me because one day he's going to wake up and God's going to tell him to leave her ass. Like it's just with anything in life. And this is the crazy thing is like, everybody is different. Every experience is different. And just because you have a couple of experiences with one or two people doesn't mean that every single person, and and again, that is the problem we have today. We act as if our triggers are other people's problems and they're not. They're our problems. It's our responsibility to deal with whatever internally we have going on within ourselves before we get into a relationship or before we even start connecting with people on a relationship type level. Because once you get in with someone, like, you can't just say, oh, this person cheated on me, so now I feel you're going to cheat on me. Now you got to adhere to all of my whatever I have going on because of that. No, that's your problem. So, I mean, again, she can feel how she wants to feel. It's her life. But at the same time, it is a little bit toxic to shift this narrative that, everybody's going to be a certain way based off of certain experiences that you dealt with.
All right. Anybody else had any experiences where they dealt with somebody that was just too religious? Or even know somebody that dealt with it? You may not personally dealt with it, but maybe it might have been somebody you may have known to have to go through that.
Yeah, I just think that people, unfortunately, in this country, think that life was designed to live without parameters. Like, I do understand your Bible thumpers, the people who really don't have a sound faith, that they may lead with their faith and they may be still working it out as far as the development so that their character a little shaky. Because that's the thing, is like you almost give yourself an unfortunate disadvantage when you lead with that, and then people not knowing what it is to be a believer put you in a different bracket. Like, you're not supposed to have bad days. You ain't supposed to get angry. You're not supposed to carry out your expression through being human. And they put you in this realm of, they want the privileges of you being structured, but then they also don't give you room to, be yourself in a sense. So that's just what I think. And she sounds hurt, bothered, and like Hink said, which I love it. I think Hink needs to get on the stage and do comedy because he's so freaking funny. She seems like she just don't want no structure. She want to do what she want to do. She got ego. That's cool. We respect it. But I would argue this is the same lady that stands on public platforms and screams about protecting and providing. And most women scream that protect and provide, but that comes straight out of the Bible. So if you don't want a man to live his life in a structure, then you should stop asking for men to protect and provide, because that's where it comes from. And I'll land.
Luis, you got anything?
Nah, I think the gentleman did a good job of covering it.
Yeah, I would just add on to this. Go ahead.
No, well, I was gonna say, man, it's one of those things. People say they don't want religion or Christians, but they like the good parts about Christianity. They love the parts where they can benefit. Like my man True said, she looks at provision and providing provision. Well, she likes the good part of religion, but when it's to them parts where it's going to challenge her as a woman on how she moves and operates and thinks and carries herself, oh, well, she don't want no part of that. Well, now I feel like the Lord is trying to restrict me. I want to be free with my mind, my body, my thoughts, and all that good stuff. So she don't want that part of religion. She's okay with the other stuff when it's able, like I said, to benefit her, to uplift her, or to reap the rewards from it. But when it's on that other side, when they're challenging you, when they hold you to, like I said, to certain standards or certain responsibilities, oh, it's like kryptonite. I gotta get the hell out of here. Yeah, this ain't for me.
Yeah, it's just like having 1 foot in, 1 foot out, man. And then whenever they say God is giving me a sign, it's always a sign that benefits them. It's never a sign that maybe suggesting that they're going in the right direction, or maybe a sign that's trying to motivate them. It's always a sign to kind of ease whatever the thought that they have currently in their head. It helps them. It motivates them. It's like you're just leaning on something. I can lean on this. If all fails, and I know this must be happening because this is the way. This is a sign from God telling me this. Go ahead, Miss Dad. I know you're going to say something.
I think I understand her point of view, and I don't really take it offensive. It's just as a man, especially if you're a Christian man, your goal is to have your wife go to church with you. If you're a church goer, you know what I'm saying? Your goal is to have your wife practice under you. So maybe that's why she just don't prefer somebody who's, into Christianity. But that doesn't mean she can't have structure and discipline in other areas that'll bring you towards God. Like Brittany was saying, there's other things that could bring you towards God other than Christianity and religion too, for that matter. For me, I see religion as like the preschool into, spirituality, because I've grew up in it for so long. I never left it, So when I needed more, I asked for spirituality, but that's a different story. But yeah, I understand where she's coming from. But I do agree with Hank though, when he said like, she not ready for marriage or to settle down, because I think when you dating a man, that's just like, especially when you care about him, you love him, you're going to naturally submit, and when you care about him, you never know. Like religion might be something she needs, but she just, like True said, her trauma is in the way of her even, giving the experience, because the trauma she had within religion. My friend had childhood trauma within religion, So it's just, you don't know what those experiences were. And I told you I had friends who had experiences, and it sounded pretty traumatic.
All right, let me get to these super chats, and then let me get to the second part where she talks about dating 25-year-olds. Lord Jitron, $10 says, big shout out to the entire panel. Shout out to the lovely and beautiful ladies. Salute and respect to the great leaders and gentlemen on the show. God first, country second, family third. Much love, guys. We also got Dub Will with the 999. I don't see a problem with non-religious persons saying a person being religious is a red flag. Those two people in a relationship aren't going to work in the long run. I agree with you, Doug. Hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I don't know where the likes are, but just that's all I'm asking for. Is just hit the like button. Let's go ahead and get into the second part.
But I'm also like, I say this tenderly because I'm 38 fucking years old. So yeah, like I've been working for 20 years. I'm a professional adult. I was talking to someone about this last year. This young man came up and asked me about the splitting the bill conversation. And I went through with him and I was like, how old are you? And he was like 24. I was like, you shouldn't be worried about nothing I'm doing. Nothing I'm doing. You would not be at dinner with me. Like, respectfully.
Yeah.
We're not in the same space in life. So yeah, if I go out to dinner with a man of my age, like, we should not have a problem paying for this dinner. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about making as much as me or more than me or me asking how much you make or any of that. It's just like, when I was 24, I wasn't thinking about these things because I was just doing what 24-year-olds do.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can cut off a lot of dudes if you dating, you're not dating, whatever. But like future, what's the age limit?
Age limit?
As far as youth to older. What's the youngest to the oldest? Like, what's your range?
Tell myself right now. I would say right now, at my age right now. Yeah, I would not date younger than 25, 26.
That's a
Why
good one.
you laughing?
Why is that funny?
No, because I thought she was going to be on
I thought you would say.
I thought she was going to be on some like 35 to 57.
Me too.
Oh no, I mean I don't think I could. I don't know. I'm
So you would say, would you
not gonna get up here and lie. Okay, young men are very aggressive and they do not care how old I am. And
Wait, but Joy, I have to ask you because this is a whole thing with women.
25
they're saying
is a
that these
grown
young
man.
men are really.
25 is grown. I
but
agree.
They're saying
Nah, you ain't about to have me out here on some bullshit. 25 is a grown ass man.
They're saying 25-year-old men are where it's at. All the older women, that's what I'm trying to say. The women that I've been talking to, like in their 30s, late 30s, they're like, like these younger men, they come, they're intentional, they come with it. They're like not playing around. They want to date you, they like treat you like you're a goddess, they appreciate you, they talk life into you. Like, I am hearing that these younger men from all these women, they are where it's at. I've never dated a younger man before, no. I've never wanted to.
They're telling the truth.
At this point, they're talking about,
Is this the truth after dark? They're telling the truth.
This is what I'm hearing. And even
But I don't like, it's 20, I don't want to be clear here, because like 25 is a grown man.
It's a grown man, Joy.
Okay.
You're not, don't
You're not
worry
about to have
that.
me on some bullshit.
No, 25
You know how
is
the internet be.
grown. No, 25 is grown.
No, that's cool.
And the ones that have approached me, they're like,
All right, 25-year-olds. Start with you, Miss Callie. What you thinking?
I mean, if men can date younger, they date way younger than 25. I don't see anything wrong with a woman dating someone 25, 26. I think that, I mean, I'm looking at from where I was when I was 25. I had my own place, my own car. I had my own everything, you know, so my own job. So, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with dating if, you know, at least 20. I think that's a good cutoff. Like 25, 26 is a good cutoff. But I don't see anything wrong. Men do it all the time. And they date way younger than that.
All right. What about you, True?
I don't personally have a problem with it. You know, you can date who you want. Like she said, you're of legal age. My issue would be is that it's interesting how, again, when you got women talking about the benefit of going younger, they all kiki ha ha. Like, old girl was falling out of her chair, super excited. But then when a man says the same thing, yo, you don't got to deal with old knees dating younger. You ain't got to deal with problems. Younger women is where it's at. Oh, you're a predator. Oh, why you want to deal with a woman who can challenge you? It's such flip-floppy when it comes to these conversations. That would be my only issue with it. If you can garner the attention of anybody, regardless of their age, and you guys mutually meet on trying to connect, do your thing. But I do think that it's just convenient how when the benefit of going younger for the females is highlighted, it's got this energy. And then the moment we say, yeah, you know, give me a little 22, 23, 24-year-old woman, oh, you're a villain. It's hilarious to me. That'd be my only pushback, and I'll land there.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking, just wondering if it's the whole structure thing. Because when you think about Christian folks, a lot of them do have a routine and they are structured. So when you think about dating somebody older, they typically have a routine and they have a certain way. They have certain ways about them, similar to how we always kind of lost my train of thought there. But anyhow, I can see why she would want to date younger, because she would have more leverage and more control with dating somebody that's younger versus somebody that's older. Then you have to deal with, I mean, they kind of set in their ways, so you can't really change a person once they get in their ways. But younger people are usually more impressionable. A lot of them are usually able to tolerate a little bit more than somebody that's older. Somebody that's older, they know what it is they're looking for. They know what it is that they want. They know what they're not going to deal with. And if you know that you have a certain way about you, then you will go to where you know it's safe, or at least you know that you can run it. Go ahead, Di.
I dated a younger guy, 5 years younger than me.
Yeah, smile.
I want to do 13 years younger. That's why sometimes when I hear women talk about it, just because I dated younger guys, I'm like, I don't know. It's like, I do agree with her. But that's why I think I agree with Hank and Truth too. She's infatuated with like the puppy love stage of getting to know somebody and stuff like that. And I can't say when I'm approached, I wouldn't date a younger guy again, by the way, but their approach is definitely more aggressive. They definitely know that, to me, older guys, they just come off so arrogant. And I guess younger guys, you know, they new to the scene. They coming across new women, so it seems like they appreciate are caliber more sometimes. And I feel like the older guys do too, but I think they play this hard to get thing that's not really interesting to me. So I can understand what she meant by like the aggression behind it. But I do also feel like at the time when I chose him, just being honest and transparent, it did have a lot to do with, okay, I get to have some type of say-so in the structure of this relationship. And I do feel like by me doing that, I have grown a lot in this relationship. I have. It's just other things that comes with younger men that doesn't scream stability, but that doesn't mean there isn't growth. So I don't want to, But yeah, that's the only part I can relate to. When she was talking about that, I'm like, yeah, that chase, have that persistence they have is it's attractive. It reminds me of that old school love that people used to sing about, singing outside the window with the boombox. They put a lot of effort towards it.
Okay. Go ahead, Luis.
This is so interesting. So she's 38 years old. She's been working for 20 years now, like she stated. And the youngest she will go is a man who's 13 years young, her senior. Let's be very honest, man. This is all a whole conversation. This has nothing to do with relationship. This has nothing to do with finding your person. This is not about building a life with somebody or starting a family. This has nothing to do. The reason why she wants the 25-year-old is because it's young enough not to go any younger and be creepy, but just old enough to say he could rent a car, so he's considered a man, right? He's considered an adult, in her words, right? Ladies, fellas, what she's effectively communicating is that she just wants young dick. That's what she wants. She wants young pipe to pipe her down. You know what I'm saying? After a long, stressful week at that broadcasting show that she spent 20 years bent over trying to get to the top. Let's just call a thing a thing.
How do you guys know that, though?
The reason why she likes that dynamic is because she has control. It's really about the control aspect, because think about it. What other things that she highlighted? She gave away the entire play from the very beginning. I don't want a man of God. I don't want a religious man. I don't want a man who has boundaries. I don't want a man who has structure. She essentially wants somebody who's going to allow her and move however way she wants, and him have no input in how she moves. She does her thing. She'll let him do his thing, whatever, and they come together. They have fun, whatever. She wants all the benefit without no attachments. That's what it is. That's what it's reading. She just won't come out and say that. She's got to be very covert with it all over. But the reality is that she's fed up of all her poor decisions within the age group of men that she has been dealing with, if not older, that she wants to revert to younger men as an escape, right? Almost like it's escapism in a sense, because in reality is she's not really looking for a relationship. She's not really looking for any kind of attachment. She hasn't talked about anything of substance. So what she's really talking about really is just having a good time. And that's fine. I want me a younger man. I just want to have a good time. Hey, open and shut case. We don't have to talk about it anymore. But once she adds all these fillers and all that, it just kind of dilutes it, because let's be honest. We all know what she's talking about. Hey, you.
You're on mute,
You on mute, girl.
Yeah, you seen any of the videos, Viz?
I ain't gonna lie to you. I missed a lot of it. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll just come back to you. Hank, you spoke on it already? The second video?
No, not yet. But I know Callie was asking, how do we know? Well, her history's been all over social media, man. I mean, it's been there, so that's how we kind of know what it is. Look, she looking for some young dick like this, just like Louis said. It is what it is, and the fact that she thinks these 25-year-olds are serious and ready to settle down, she's lying to her goddamn self. Man, they not ready to settle. They ready to knock your back out with your old ass. But please believe you me, they praying, hoping for a girl about the age will come calling. They not trying to get with you to marry you, to wife you up, to bless you with their last name. They not looking for that. They looking for you as a sugar mama. You a meal ticket, baby. You just don't want to accept it. Use a future meal ticket. He gonna use, abuse you, gonna throw you back to the streets like he should. But that's how you should treat a hoe. You don't give a hoe respect. You don't be courteous to a hoe. You devour a hoe. You treat a hoe like you need to be treated. And that's how the YN's gonna do you. So what makes you think you're gonna get a younger man? Oh, he gonna marry me. He gonna walk me down the aisle. He gonna say I do. No, baby. That's the farthest from his mind. He looking to you like you for bragging rights. Yeah, I fucked Joy Taylor. Yeah, I fucked her old ass. Yeah, she hit me on my IG, she hit me on my DMs, and I did what I needed to do. And I got the hell on up. I did like that assistant at Fox did, bent over the goddamn table. Like Shannon, Skip, Acho, probably Paul Pierce already knocked it down. That's why she's showing up on the goddamn show. You know what I'm saying? I think my man, LaShawn McCoy, he might have knocked her down too. Matter of fact, Jaden Daniels, the little white quarterback. Now, I don't know if she like white guys, but maybe she decided to go and get some vanilla. She's 50% vanilla, so why not? Look, man, the young dudes ain't trying to be something serious, which I don't know no young dude right now talk about at the age of 25, yeah, I'm ready to get married. No, they enjoy life. Let me tell you what they're doing. They're doing the stuff in reverse. Remember back in the days in the early 90s, how the girls wouldn't want to get married, come straight out of college. They say, you know, they want to live their best life, right? They want to go through their whole phase. And when they turn 30, and now they got a baby or two dropped in them. Now they want some man like True to come through and save their ass. That's what they want. Well, now the shit's in reverse now. Now the YNs now are saying, I want to live my best life. I want to be a hoe out here until I get to about 30 or 35, and then I'll be ready to settle down. I might have a baby mama too, but you know what? These desperate ass joys, they will accept that. You know why? Because she old, and like Stella, she trying to get her goddamn groove back. I'll leave it there, JR.
Hey man, she might be casting for the part 2 version.
Now she doing the sequel or the remake.
But you don't act like men weren't doing this first. Women are now retaliating to what y'all been doing for years.
No, women been doing this. Don't even do
they
that.
doing what y'all do.
Women been doing this. Hey, but
the older men in their age group going for the 25-year-olds, so they said, "Hey, I might as well too."
Women been doing this.
Wait, so hold on.
That's why her and Shannon Sharp was attracted to each other. You see what Shannon Sharp on? They attracted to each other. She dating men right up in her alley, right up in her on the same stuff she on. Neither one of them on no marriage stuff. They both on some other stuff.
So when you say retaliate, can you expand on that? What do you mean retaliate? Retaliate on who?
So when I look at the younger generation, how they talk about what they do to men, they be like, "Oh, so you gonna do this? I'm gonna do it too." Like these young girls, I becoming YNs too. That's the easiest way to put it. That's why y'all see all this pussy on the internet and I want your money and because they feel like a trick, like to them, like they feel like you a trick. So like they gonna play it the same, like how y'all just said about hoes. They feel like that about tricks. Like y'all like, but he putting her on, he educating her, giving her business ideas, you know, older guy, and she just end up leaving him for another guy or trying to trap him with a baby, whatever the case is. She seeing him as a trick too. Like, you old as hell, nigga. Like, what makes you think I would really want to be with you? You're old. You probably don't even last that long, and you probably do Viagra. So it's either you last too long or you don't last long enough. Like, they have the same issues with these older guys. It's just
the crazy part of that. The crazy part of that is that those women think that they're getting over on that man whole time. The man is there strictly for that. The logic of that is insane. The fact that you even think that this is something that's retaliatory is insane on its own. This is nothing new.
Not me. I don't think that, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
I mean, but that's what you said though. So
that's what they're doing. That's what they think. They think is. I don't think that's a good way to. I don't agree with it. I'm just telling you what I see and what's going on, and I don't agree with it at all. I think it's dumb. I think it's stupid to put your like, oh, so you're gonna do bad, I'm gonna do worse like that. It makes no sense.
What you about to say, Callie?
More stupid. Like,
well,
I think Callie about to say something. Go ahead, Callie.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I learned a new word, retaliatory. I know retaliate, but I didn't know retaliatory. So I learned a new word.
Well, yeah, as I've always said, and the brother Hink can attest to it. The world needs hoes. So if that's what you into, hey, then that's what you into. Play your role. But to think that you're getting over on someone, it's like, come on, man. You're not being genuine, and you're not being true to yourself and playing that role as a pro. So it's like, man, keep it a buck. Nobody is getting over on anybody. Everybody is doing exactly what it is that they're designed to do or have a desire to do. So that's just what it is at the end of the day.
All right, we're going to get to these super chats and keep it moving, man. AP accountability partner. Twin Olive says, it's my fear of God that keeps me from just busting down the club. There's a set of Christian principles that guide folks. The way she talks is what's wrong with the community. AP again with the $5, also a member. LOL. They're intentional, but she's still single. This is about the bust down. My life entertaining 999. She said a 24-year-old wouldn't even be in a space having dinner with her to have to pay for dinner, but she'll date a 25-year-old. There's no difference. That statement shows the delusion and uncertainty. Dub Will with the 199 also member. A 38-year-old woman is target practice for a 25-year-old man. AP accountability partner, also a member. $5 says, ladies, every man on the panel and most in that chat have some old heads throwing it at an Ian. What's Ian?
Throwing that at him.
Oh, okay. From age about 16 to 28. Older chicks been on this. AP out there, spitting on facts. I want to thank everybody that's contributed to the platform thus far. Let's go ahead and keep it moving. So there's a viral story that came out of a mother almost crashes out on her children after they refuse to clean their room, despite her making it clear she needs the house clean for her mental health. I treat these kids like gold. All I ask is that they keep the house clean because I cannot take the dirt. Y'all seen that video? I'm going to go ahead and play this video. Then I'll give a little bit of context after the video, but this is what everybody is seeing. But I have to do a little bit of digging, kind of figure out who she is and the reason as to why she's almost about to crash out. But here we go.
Editing this video, I'm having a full-blown anxiety attack and I'm trying to calm down. I'm not editing. I'm showing y'all everything in real time. And it's okay if the internet doesn't agree with me. But they call me dramatic. Let me tell y'all something. I pay all the bills in this house. I like to be clean because 1, from trauma. 2, is just who I am as a person. We have a big house. I clean this house up all day by myself. All day. I have big kids in this house. I haven't been downstairs in 24 hours because I said, I'm not in the mood to clean up downstairs. Told my daughters live downstairs. We live upstairs. Told my daughters yesterday, I just cleaned up the whole house upstairs. All I ask is for downstairs to be clean because I need to come down there and go to the laundry room. I just walked down the steps. I'm going to show y'all what downstairs look like. I want my daughters walk around here with their hair done. every pair of sneakers that come out. They got iPhones, they got iPads, they got their own room. They get everything they heart fucking desires. You hear me? I treat these kids like gold. I believe they should live a soft fucking life. I don't ask them for nothing. All I ask is for them to get this fucking house clean because I cannot take the dirt, bro. I'm about to go downstairs and I'm about to show y'all this. And y'all natural reaction is going to say, walk away, let them clean it. They had the opportunity to clean this shit. They will not clean it. I purposely didn't put a garbage bag inside the garbage for 3 days. I walked past it for 3 because I said I want to see who's going to put a garbage. You know they've been taking the garbage and putting it in the dustbin. Remind you, the garbage bags is right there. All you got to do is open up the count. They refuse, son. They refuse, and I could ask so nicely. I could ask and I could ask and I could ask. But when I get to this point where I feel like bugging out, like I feel like yelling, screaming, and breaking shit. Because why can't y'all just... I can't walk away from it. So I'm about to go downstairs and I'm about to show y'all what it looked like. And y'all gonna say in the comment section, I would have walked away. I would have left it. No way in hell I'm gonna clean it. My fucking soul won't let me walk away from it. Y'all don't understand. Maybe it's related to trauma or whatever it is. If I look at downstairs right now and I try to go about my day, it's gonna be on my mind all day. So yes, I'm going to clean it because I cannot take it. But while I'm cleaning it, I'm losing it in my mind because it's like, my nigga, why? How can you live like this? Look at this shit. Look at this. Look at this. What is this? What is this? I don't even know what this is. Look at this. How do you just, you don't even get yourself together. When you get yourself together, look at this. So you literally eat food and you put it in the chair next to, oh, it gets worse. Look at the dresser. You sit your food here like it's a garbage. Bags and bags of fucking garbage. Clothes everywhere. Why is the bikes in from the garage? Why? Why is there bikes inside? Look at my laundry room. What? Oh my God. Remind y'all, I am exhausted. I am so tired. And I took today off because I said, you know what, I'm going to just lay down and relax. But my brain physically will never allow me to close my eyes with my house looking like this. Even if it's out of sight, it's not out of mind for me. The amount of a half drinking water bottles that I found in this one room makes me never want to buy water again. And that's not who I am as a person. Why do I have to alter who I want to be to them as a mom, who I am as a person? Because you won't fucking clean? It physically and mentally hurts me when I have to be mean to these children because that's not how I parent. It's not who I am. You know how many kids are out here praying for a home with food and a mom that loves them? I treat these kids with emotional understanding. I meet these kids where they're at all times. I be mindful of how I parent them because I don't want them to face anything I've ever had to go through. And only thing I require is one thing. Keep your space clean. I'm not asking you to clean behind nobody but your damn self. And that's too much of a task for you to do. I want to crash out for real, y'all. I'm not even going to lie. I would love to get up here and give y'all some motivation and tell y'all everything was going to be okay. And this is the part of parenting. But this is the part of the parenting that no one wants to come on the internet and show. Everybody wants to show the perfect side, the good and the glitz and the glam. But this is the part that nobody wants to show. I need to take a breather. I'll come back when I'm feeling a little better.
All right. So I had to do a little bit of digging to try to figure out who she was, right? Because I know it had to be a backstory. So a lot of people was telling me about her YouTube channel, like she has a story. So let me go ahead and see if I can add this. Don't know why it's not adding on there. How you doing, Nate?
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Hello, ma'am.
Redo this. Remove. Present. Share. Okay. So this is our page. So she creates content, and then so that's the reason why it's recorded, because that's one of the first things. Well, why is she recording this? she's doing it for attention. 174K subs. And so people kept saying if you knew her story, you can understand what all she's been through a lot. So moving into a shelter during COVID, the day in life of a mom living in the ghetto. That's one of her videos right here.
I see the TV in the background, girl bye. When, like I said, this is my chaotic life. So when I went into the grocery store, I would be as sporadic as ever. And I just seen a half a chicken because when I order Chinese food, I like getting rice with a half a chicken. Carrot. She wants her chicken. Half a chicken.
All right. So I said that all to say is that it seems like she had a rough life. And so she's having a better life right now. And so what you see in her doing is almost crashing out. Clearly she has some whole lot of things she went through in her past. But let me just get you guys' thoughts about what you've seen and how you feeling about it, even knowing a little bit of the backstory.
This is a great example of why you should not shelter your children from struggle. She said that she didn't want her kids to experience what she did, so now she has filthy kids. Fellas, be careful out there, because it's women like her raising women that this next generation is supposed to wife that lives like this. So I think that it's unfortunate. I understand where she's coming from, but you're doing a disservice in setting those young women up for failure as to where they're clearly filthy. I mean, it wasn't as bad as she was hyping it up to be, but that's still pretty goddamn nasty. If you're probably not paying no bills, all you got to do is just clean your room, put something in the trash, and go about your way. Just keeping it somewhat tedious. You would think some young boys, some young niggas, as they say, lived in there. But the fact that it's some young women in there with the eyelashes, I'm sure they dialed up. They got the whole look when they come outside, but the inside is not looking too good. So I think that this is a clear reason as to why you should not treat your children in that manner, because you're just setting yourself up for failure.
All right, let me go ahead and get Nan now. What you thinking, Nan? I know you came in right at the beginning of it. What are your thoughts about it?
I agree with Viz, but I also want to point out the fact that like she's bringing it to the internet instead of her kids. Like she said, she left the garbage like by itself, no bag in it for like 3 days. Why not like just ask them like, hey, you see this has been like this for a few days. Can you put a bag in it? Can you like, I don't know. I think she's like bringing a lot to the internet, and I don't know if she's having these conversations with her kids or not, but they won't hurt. Um, and then at that, like Viz says, like you're saying you don't want your kids to deal with what you had to deal with, your struggle, whatever. They're seeing that and they're realizing that, like, okay, mommy, she's not going to let us go without, so we can just let her do it all. I don't know how old her kids are. I don't know if she said that in the video, but the fact that you're just like walking around the house and you're pointing it out, but you're like probably not saying it's them, that I feel like you can't really be mad at that. And it is disgusting. It's very disgusting. But at the end of the day, like you still have to teach them this. And she's probably doing the same thing. They probably think this is okay because they're seeing her do the same thing. So I don't know. I don't really have too much background on her. So
Yeah, I'm looking at this, man. On her YouTube page, she had a 10-minute page of this, and she also put it on her IG. So she's clearly recording content.
yeah, I
So
feel like a
if
lot of
she,
it is for attention.
yeah, so if she didn't have sense, in my opinion, I think it would be difficult for her to be able to maintain her upload and her spreading awareness. I know it's a story, and I know she may be, I don't know. I mean, even if she was crashing out, I think she got enough sense to be able to let them know. If anybody has teenagers, then I think that they would know that they do get lazy. They do
Yeah.
get lazy. They will try you. And that's when you got to kick it up a notch and teach them because they're about to ready to enter adulthood. And so I've talked to other adults who have gone through some of the similar things that I've gone through. Have any you guys got teenagers? Hank, you got a teenager, right? Had a teenager?
Yes, sir. I got a 19-year-old son as we speak.
Yeah. And then would you say that you started to see a little bit of laziness and not
Rebellion.
yeah.
Uh, I didn't let that laziness kick in, JR. I ain't gonna front you. Yeah, that shit right there. Yeah, that's disgusting. Look, can I say something real fast, JR? I don't know if, unless you had somebody else plan on saying something.
No, go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah, she's failing her kids. She's failing the kids big time. And the reasons why everything she's talking about, going from rags to riches or whatever she want to call it, man, you ain't doing nothing no special than nobody else did. Who's made it or came up or did something different. Man, you're not doing no different. You just so happen to put your shit on the internet. That's the only difference. You so happen to document your shit. But man, what you should be doing is document your disgruntled badass kids. Now, I think she has all daughters. I don't know if she has sons. I think she got all daughters. But the fact is, where's the father at? Where's the fathers of these girls? If it's to that point where they don't listen to you at all, you need to pack them luggage bags that you had in there and tell them, get that shit and get the fuck out. Because it's obvious they don't appreciate you. It's obvious they don't respect you. It's obvious they don't care about you. Or you could do another thing. Turn off your goddamn internet. Matter of fact, go to the power box and turn off the power to the basement. And don't turn it on until you need to use that goddamn washing machine, and then I'll shut that bitch right back off. Let you some bitches live in the dark with a candlelight or a flashlight. You're gonna get it. You're gonna feel how hard it is to be without. Matter of fact, if y'all got jobs, y'all ain't got jobs, we're gonna get your jobs. And I need for you to start paying up. I'm running them goddamn pockets. Taking all them nice shoes, I'm tying them up in a black bag and I'm putting them in my bedroom. I'm putting a lock on the goddamn refrigerator. You don't appreciate meals. Since you want to look like a DoorDash or eating off of paper plates. Man, I'm a grown man. I don't eat off no goddamn paper plates. I don't shit. What the shit? Why we got paper plates unless we got a cookout? Ain't no cookout. Well, we eating on paper plates. Why? Because them lazy motherfuckers don't want to wash. And then they don't even want to throw it away in the trash. I would hate to see what the yard looks like. I hope she got a yard man to come and cut her grass. And I would hate to see what that looks like.
I hate to see
I
what
mean,
the
you
bathroom
got the
look like.
bikes that's supposed to be in the garage. They inside the house. What are we doing here? So they just have an old joyride in that whole basement. Because she said, I live upstairs. They live downstairs. So you just let them run in amok. Doing what they want to do. Operating how they want to do. That's your problem, man. Not one time you was able to take no control because you wanted to be their goddamn kids' friends. You want to be friends with the kids. You want to be the cool mom. You didn't want to be the nasty woman. You didn't want to wear the black hat. Now, if the father's in the life, I don't know. Maybe he's not. But if he's not, you need to wear the black hat at times. You got to be the bad guy, and you got to snatch up all them goddamn phones. You got to take away all them iPads, and again, turn the power off to that area of the house and let it be. But she's not trying to do that. Why? Because she wants to be a kid friend, and it's not going to be cool if I do those things. So now you're going to stress yourself out. You're going to send your ass to the emergency room because you're so stressed out, so worked up. You're going to have a mess around, have a stroke or a heart attack dealing with them badass girls or kids or whatever they are. You need to put your foot down, man. Take control of your home. That is your home. That's not their home. They're borrowing it. That's not their room. That's your room. They're just using it. For the meantime, between time, there's gonna be an exit date for your ass. If you don't get your shit together, your exit date gonna be today. Get the fuck out. Go to your goddamn daddy's house. I'm not dealing with this shit no goddamn more. But the problem is she's not willing to do that. So, man, I don't know if you got a man, or if you do got a man, shame on his ass. Why he ain't saying nothing? Even if that's not my goddamn kids, I'm paying his house payment. No, these little motherfuckers need to get going. Either get going or get this house cleaned up. Something's got to happen. Yeah, exactly. Jan, what you showing? That's my friends. They friends. All the girls, they friends. She don't want to look like the bad guy. She's a cool mom. Now, maybe she's overcompensating because her daddy ain't nowhere to be found. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But even if that's the case, you don't need to be your kid's friends. That's the worst mistake any parent could do, trying to be your kid's friend, because then you can't tell them no. Then you can't tell them what they could do, because you're going to say, oh, we cool, mama. We're going to dap it up like, we're best friends. No, hell no. Look at them. Look, those are young tack heads in the making. Yeah. It's got their hair done. They looking cute, well dressed. But guess what they telling you every time you ask to do something? Fuck you, mama. I ain't doing shit. Kiss my grits. Oh, hell no. You need to go upside some head. CPS need to be called on me, because I'm not tolerating none of this bullshit. I'll leave it there. I was a little long with it. Shame on me.
I can honestly understand the frustration that she's going. I can understand her frustration though, because like when I was raised by a single mom, and like my mom was like had OCD to the max. Like it was like it would be like 12 o'clock at night and she just decided to go downstairs and organize the shoe rack, because we weren't allowed to wear shoes in the house. So we had to put our shoes in the little like shoe rack right by the front door. I know where she'll just go downstairs and start organizing them. So I can understand like the frustration that she gets when like they don't clean up, or, she just finished cleaning up, or having to do it. Because that's how my mom was. But also at the same time, my mom taught us to be clean. So when we would grow up, our rooms needed to be made, our beds needed to be made before we walked out of the house. If not, mom's gonna raise all hell. So we always had to make sure we cleaned up after ourselves and made sure we washed up after ourselves. But at the same time, it's like I do understand why she's crashing out, especially because she did state that she was trying to tell her kids, hey, like clean up after yourself, and they're just kind of telling her no. So that would piss anyone off. But I didn't have the option to tell my mom no. My mom told me to do something, I had to go and do it right then and there. Ain't no waiting, ain't no you got 5 minutes. No, it's by the time I come up those steps, your room better be spotless. And our type of clean was probably way more advanced than anybody's, because we had to clean everything. And that but I like that, because then now that I'm older, that's kind of how I live my life. Like I wake up and I clean up after myself. So I don't know. I don't have any kids, so I don't really know how to talk on that, but I do understand where she's coming from when she says that I can't just let it be or let them clean it up. I have to clean it up because it's just that urge, because I have that same urge too. I can't just let something sit there. I have to clean it. It has to get done.
I think that is great that we think that this is crashing out too, because she definitely didn't crash out at all. Crashing out is her getting a belt and crashing out on their ass on camera. That's crashing out. Her crashing out is her not even talking to the internet and putting foot in ass to get them to clean up. So I think that is I'm proud of society that we got to this point that we assume that this is crashing out.
Yeah, I think the headline read that she was about to crash out. So not necessarily that she crashed out, but I got what you were saying. Anybody else want to add anything to it?
I mean, from the video, it looks like she had a wedding ring on her hand. So I have to assume that, the father's in the picture, or she got married to somebody else. But she is married, presumably, because she has a wedding ring on her hand. And the father, where's the father in this entire equation? She never brought him up one time. She never said anything I don't know if the man is in his life or it's another man who's in her life who lives with them, but where's the male figure? It's nowhere to be found. And the other thing that got me was you're supposed to be teaching these kids from a young age. You like, I'm not telling anybody how to parent, but like when you spoil them rotten early on, why do you expect them once they get into their formative years? They don't listen to you. They don't clean up. They don't organize. They don't nothing. There'll be no TV, no laptop, no internet, no nothing, no iPhone, no tablets, none of that. Those are all privileges. Those are all rewards as far as I'm concerned. Like you got to earn those things. You got to earn your keep because when you leave this house, the world is not going to be as kind to you as your parents are, right? So, I I think that unfortunately the message is kind of not really hitting because it's being delivered to them at the wrong age. It's too late. You gotta see you gotta really get to them when they're young. Really show them, how to, organize and what's right and what's wrong. Because unfortunately, this is the cycle. And mind you, this is happening much more often than people want to think. She's only the one that elected it to record it and put it on the internet. Just stop and think how many other mothers are going through that same exact thing that haven't gone viral or uploaded it to social media. There you
Go ahead, Nay.
Oh, I wanted to also point out the fact that she said the kids get the newest everything. They have the new iPhones, new games, new whatever. I feel like she's not making them work for anything. Like when I was younger, I had to work for everything. Like if I wanted a phone, I had to work my ass off for months. If it was around Christmas time, that house was spotless because we all knew if we acted out or anything, if we didn't clean up or do our chores or whatever, we would be penalized for it and we wouldn't get what we wanted. She's just giving them things without making them work for it. And I think that's a big thing too. Maybe she needs to like orchestrate like a chore chart or something like that. Like it doesn't really seem like she's making them clean. Like it seems like she's just thinking like, okay, well this is dirty. 2 + 2 is 4. You should clean it when you're not really doing your part. So I think that's a big thing too. Definitely got to make them work for it, especially if it's like an iPhone or something. Like me personally, as a kid, I wanted an iPhone so bad. Worked my ass off for one. Still didn't get it. Like I didn't get an iPhone until I was about 15, 16. So I think a lot of things are being well, this is a new generation, period, but a lot of things are just being given to them. And a lot of parents too are just like, okay, well, I don't want my kids to go to school and look like this or not have this or not have this and not making them work for those things. It's all about image. So she can't really be mad at the kids. I feel like you have to do your part as a mother.
My first
Delayed
phone
gratification is so key.
my first phone was a Prime Co phone that didn't turn on. The first phone I bought when I was in high school was a brick Nokia phone with the little light with the antenna that light up.
My mama taught me how to use a cell phone on one of those phones.
So I think for
Man, y'all old, man. I don't even know what y'all talking about right now.
so to get an iPhone as your first phone, and I'm pretty sure that your parents probably paid for it at 15, 16, that's a privilege all on its own. So I think again we're conditioning our kids to be spoiled, and that does not help not only your child but also society. So yeah, I think that even though we don't want our children to experience what it is that we went through and experienced as well, we also have to remember that those experiences develop character, develop respect, appreciation for these items that we spent our own money on, that we had to go and work for. Again, the Nokia phones, right? You had to pay extra money. You had this ugly ass brick phone. You had to pay extra money for the hologram that was on the screen. You had to pay extra money for the case, for the keypad to light up. Like this some old school shit. Hink had the phone that was in the book bag.
God damn.
Y'all showing y'all age.
Hey. So to be able to have the internet in your pocket at 15, unlimited minutes. When I was 15, boy, you can't call me until 9 o'clock, my boy.
Don't call me after 9 or on the weekend.
Damn, I got 3 more texts, man. I can't even text you back until next month. Everything wasn't in abundance, and you were forced to appreciate what it was that you had, and being able to spend your hard-earned money on these items. So I think the more that we condition our children to be spoiled in this, we do a disservice to our future and to them.
Okay. Go ahead, Nista.
I probably sound a little insensitive, but that's because I do I see this a lot within women, and it makes me so, I get so pissed because my women friends like, why you so good with children? Why you so? Because I set the tone and I let it know what's going to be tolerated and what's not going to be tolerated from a very young age. I don't have to curse. I don't have to hit. You want nice mommy or mean mommy, okay? Because you only got a couple of times. Wait, look, I understand I got to be a woman. I can't be a, dad, but you're going to put me into my masculine energy and I'm going to get in the ass if you don't do what I got to say. What? And when I tell my friends this, like, you can still give your children a word. You can still make them earn things. Have it there for them to earn. You get what I'm trying to say? And when I seen this, I'm like, you like this. Like, you like this type of attention. It just irritated me. And if my friends call me too many times about the same situation and I already gave you advice for it, but you don't want to take it, I'm going to let them know, well, that's your fault. That's your fault. The way your kids turn out is your fault. Either you lack something or you need to, or you need to take back on something. You're doing too much. That irritated me. And it just seemed like it was like, oh, girl, if I was, you know what I do? Because my daughter, and I'm glad you said this, Lapeef, because I thought something was wrong with me and my daughter. I'm like, I've been doing good up into this age, but she getting into her hormone stage. You know what I'm saying? She's growing into teenager. And I'm like, I've been having to be mean mommy a lot lately. Like, I don't understand. I thought something was wrong with her. But then when y'all talk about teenagers, it's like, okay, now I see this is, it ain't nothing wrong with her, but this is just part of the process. Like he said, when you get to a certain age, you got to turn it up a notch. And I feel like, girl, I don't want to hear that. Like some women, I feel like that. They like to be like, this is my situation. This is my, like, I don't understand. I don't even know how to explain it, but that just, it pissed me off because it triggered me because I see a lot of women do that and then be like, well, these are my problems, but they're problems that you have control over. You know what I'm saying? You have control over this. You just don't want to hurt their feelings, and now you all chaotic and they seeing their mother in a breakdown, and you know what I'm saying? What you're doing is making them worse because you don't want them to feel something. That's going to help you and them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't be feeling bad for people like that.
They're raising on neglect and raising on trauma, right? They're raising on the fact that they didn't receive things or they didn't get things or they might have had a harsh upbringing, which I understand, but giving them everything that you didn't have doesn't make them better people, doesn't make them better equipped for the future, right? And
no shade, Louise, but doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is insanity.
Well, I agree.
Like, they're grown. You know what I'm saying? You should have been doing this at 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're grown. And since they're grown, you tell them to do it. As a parent, like he said, either I'm going to turn off these lights, I'm depending on their age. I'm going to stand here until you gonna clean this shit. You better clean it up. You better clean it up. Like, I have
If it didn't
nothing.
get clean, we're gonna wake up early tomorrow morning and we had to wash the baseboards, everything, walls, everything. Like my mom did not play with that at all. And the fact that they even had, I hope I didn't cut nobody off, but the fact that they even had like food in the chairs, in the room, stuff like that, my mom would have been canceled all of that. Like now you can't bring no food in your room. Like she's not doing her part. I feel like I feel bad for her, but and like you said, like she's bringing it to the internet. That remind me of like say like when I was younger, if I get into it with my mom, she calling everybody like, you know what she just did. Like some moms be hype and ready to do that. Like you ain't really doing your part.
And it's like they get a kick out of it. Like they be like, do you know my kids fucked up? You know what's name bad as hell. Like
telling everybody my business. Like
Yeah, I think this woman was real weak, to be honest with you. I never met a kid I can't punk. Honestly, kids can't survive without parental assistance. They can't do nothing without you. So I don't really understand her whole position on it. You know, like Di was saying, she crying and snotting on the camera. I'm sorry, lady. Like for entertainment purposes, cool. But reality is you can only give your kids what you have, meaning you either are disciplined or you're not. You're structured or you're not. So they reflect what you are or aren't. And kids to me are very easy. Everything they need or get or receive or experience is a direct reflection of what you allow. This is your house, your mortgage, your rent, your square footage. So if they walking through your world disrespecting you, you like being disrespected. It's just that simple. They can't do nothing without you. So I can't wrap my mind around a grown woman who pay taxes and allow little people that have her last name to blatantly disrespect her. Then she a woman of the community, and we known for getting rah-rah. We don't play that, right? So you disrespecting the culture. Like it's a whole new movement. It's a like I'm not understanding what's happening. We used to see stuff fly across the room if we even didn't respond correctly. So her getting on the camera, I'm sorry. It is unfortunate that there are parenting classes, there are books, there are so many resources that if you really want to develop yourself to be a better parent, you can get your hands on it. So I think she likes to be abused, like Di said, and I'll land there.
We were having a conversation, like I think it was like almost 2 weeks ago on Clubhouse, and somebody brought up they're like, you know, the way some of these people are today, like they should pass policy that you have to take a parenting class and pass it. You know, have to take a parenting class on how to groom, clean, how to nutrition, just a lot of basic life things that unfortunately a lot of people are just not really receiving. And unfortunately that just trickles down into the teenage years and then adult, and then they're out here in society with the rest of us and they're half of a person because they can't fully function because they haven't been given the proper tool set or the proper home training to operate in different spaces.
I just want to say these also be the women that be needing a man. I'm gonna just say that these are the women that need a man. Like, and I feel like I'm not gonna lie. I feel like all women need men. I feel like that man-woman relationship is very important. But this woman right here, this is the detriment. You know what I'm saying to her kids. Like you can't do it. You can't. You want to do it. You can tell she wants to be there, stay at home. She likes to clean. She, you know, that gives her health, her mental health in order. But she's so busy working, she can't even really be in her feminine and keep the house clean and cook and do everything that she wants to. So she do need help from her kids, but she can't discipline either. You know what I'm saying? So it's like she needs a man. Like King said, where is their daddy? Like, and she probably the type of woman, and I've seen these type of women too, that just want so much control that she probably don't even let the daddy get involved. You too harsh on no more. Now stay back. And he just at the point where like, you know what, just do what the fuck you want to do. I'm out. That's why when you see this stuff going on, he like, I done told your ass. I done told you, for real.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like kids don't do anything just based off of that control. Like I have a family member who she don't even like people washing dishes in her house because she feel like you're gonna do it the wrong way. So when I go to her house, I know like if I eat anything, I'm gonna just leave it here for you. I'm gonna stack it nicely, but I'm gonna leave it here because you gonna go at me and tell me I ain't doing it the right way. So maybe she coming at the kids every time they do try, and now they just like, you know what, you do it yourself. Like, and I don't know if that was a bedroom or a living room because it was throwing me off with the couch. But the fact that they even got all that, if that is a room, is just like you doing too much for these kids, and you ain't expecting much in return. Like, you just buying them stuff at this point. They, like y'all said, you treating them like your friend. And the fact that you're bringing everything to the internet, it's like you waiting for this type of stuff to happen. Like, you never know. Maybe she told them, you know what, don't clean up. Don't clean up. I'm gonna make some content off of this. Like, and then you're not really thinking about your kids at the end of the day, because if you are a big content creator with a big following, people know that. Like, them kids at school are probably clowning them now. Like, ew, y'all dirty. Y'all not even cleaning. I seen your room. Like, you're not cleaning up. So I don't know. I feel like she didn't think this through. Maybe you could have just had that conversation with them instead of just waiting to see what they would do.
But maybe perhaps that level of embarrassment, that level of exposure will probably make them think a little bit harder about.
They go to school with dirty kids too.
Hey,
kids ain't thinking about that. They thinking like, oh, you just got 10,000 likes on this shit, boy.
You know, that is so sad. Oh my God.
It is. This is the area of class.
Hey, no.
I started going to school in uniform, man. Like
these kids dirty as hell, bro.
Yeah, bro. I don't even think they're kids.
Not all of them. I'm just gonna talk about those, you know. But she letting them know. Like, she letting them. I don't like talking about kids. But
I'm saying though, the majority of I would say our culture, we treat our children like that. The same way that she's treating her kids, there's a very large majority of kids or parents that's treating their kids the same exact way. We see it every day on the internet. We see it when all of these kids were doing the snatch and grabs. I guarantee you, all of those kids that's outside and they was running up in 7-Elevens and doing all that other shit, their house, their room is filthy. I guarantee you, because kids that don't have filthy rooms, they're not going to be out doing stuff like that. So no, I think that this is a direct effect of how it is that we feel and think that we should be raising our kids, because we didn't want them to experience the trauma that we had. So now we have children that don't respect authority. They don't respect their parents. They don't respect the things that they own, the things that they're given, the things that they're exposed to. For what? It was given to me. So why should I care? So it's unfortunate.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and switch gears. What's going on, Amir? How you doing?
Hey, I really like this type of topic.
Ah, okay. You say you do?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Always like talking about how to raise the next generation is always a topic on my mind, because that's our future. We need to pay a lot of attention to it. And I've seen a lot of shifting from my grandmother's generation to those under me.
Absolutely. Let's get to these super chats. AP Accountability Partner, $2 says, "Thank you, Dad. It was my typo." Big Bama, 44, $4.99. That 25-year-old Hink was a demon to the Joy Taylors of the world. Salute JR, Viz, Luis, and True. Eon Simmons, 1999, says, "Wait, she has all the time to post videos, but she crazy? Ashing out, crashing out." My Life, Your Entertainment, $9.99. Those are little kids in the house from the looks of the bikes and shoe sizes. She's a single baby mama looking for sympathy for the bad choices she made in life. There's no father at home whooping ass. AP accountability partner, $10 says, "No, Callie, I assure you, it's not more advanced than any of us. Bleaching tubs, pan salt, and mop water. Black mamas didn't play that ish. Can't go play till your room's clean." Privacy to savior. Also, Amendment $5 says she's doing more TikTok trends with them than actually disciplining them. Damn shame she did this to herself, trying to be their friends. Yeah, she do got social media popping. AP accountability partner, $2 says, iPhone as a kid, we had payphones. Yeah, we did have a payphone. I remember the first time the payphone rang. I said, "Oh, I can get calls now." I had to go downstairs from apartment 705 at a certain time to be able to get that call, but I was a youngin', so it was from grandmother and grandparents, because we would have a phone, not have a phone, have a phone, not having a phone. I think my mama was switching names. I don't know what she was doing, but she was boosting them numbers. And when we had three-way, I felt like I was rich. I was rich. I was calling everybody on three-way. I even tried the four-way. It didn't work. What about that call waiting, that call ID?
Hey, JR, did mom had a phone number in your name too?
She ain't have it in my name. She didn't do that route. So I respect her for that. But I remember that Ameritech call ID, the one that used to light up red. I know we had some missed calls. I was running to see who called, man. That used to be the thing. Anyhow, prophecy to savior, $5 says, I brought my first phone after high school, and it was a Nokia with the only game was Snake and no internet. And I can't call to after 9 or weekend, shaking my head. I had an actual, one of my phones I had a grandfather plan. I still had nicer weekends maybe about 4 years ago. But I finally went on here and got rid of it. I know it is work, man, but I was trying to hold on to that data plan that was like,
man, did you just say 4 years ago?
Yeah, it's about 4 years ago.
I got my first phone when I was 10.
Hey, no, JR old as hell, man.
But that was only because I had to walk home and I had to text my mom like when I got home and when I got out of school.
Like that was the only plan that they couldn't touch. But then once they started screwing, they was charging me for minutes, going over my minutes.
No, I remember I got charged because I was calling a friend from Jamaica. And I guess apparently I ran up the phone bill really bad because we would talk like all night. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you ever seen a Filipino mama get mad? Let me tell you. Oh my God, it was bad. It was like, and I was on the phone and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. And she was like, she came downstairs. All you hear is her just hooting and hollering. I was like, oh, sorry, bro. I don't even want to know what the amount of that bill was, but I just remember I suffered greatly for that one.
Yeah, I had to sell my first car when I ran up a phone bill after the minutes. Like, it was like, I think it was like a $1,400 payment. And my mom and dad looked at me and was like, well, guess you're going to be walking. Damn, serious too. I have to sell the joint. So, crazy.
Let's go to keep these super chats moving. I just cut me off my story. I was finally getting people to laugh, and then I guess somebody else wanted to time more than me. So,
hey, this Mark say JR was in a pandemic with 200 minutes left.
Yeah, man. This is about 4 years ago. So the system, I guess it couldn't keep up. I was one of the last people to hold on to it. Every time I would call in, they would try to get me off of it. But they started charging me for minutes, man, and screwing it up. And then I couldn't travel out the country because they didn't have any plans. They said the only way you can get this international plan is if you get off the plan you own. So
wait, you said this was 4 years ago?
That's right. And then you cut me off and started talking about your story. I thought my story.
My bad. Oh, I didn't.
Damn, she trying to battle you. What's going on?
No. On God, I was like so caught up in.
Yeah, she's doing it again right now.
No, I didn't. Wait, I just processed that this was 4 years ago.
4 years ago. That's what made the story so exciting. So when you cut me off, everybody was just.
You never went to the phone store?
he was that problematic customer. I used to work for AT&T, and I used to try to have to get customers off of that plan, like plans like that too, because it'll mess up the system, because the system is still trying to go back to something that's not offered to air people. And he's just like, nah, I ain't going. Like, nah, keep me on my, like, I need to,
keep me on that plan. It's serving me well. Y'all ain't touching my internet. The internet was important to me. I ain't want them to slow down my internet. But once they just started giving me them extra charges and I had to keep calling to get credits, and they just like, look, man, this plan is old as hell. So you're gonna probably be running into situations because our system is really working.
They like, hey, fam, we can't even monitor this motherfucker no more.
So, JR, did you have to use a phone card in order to call international?
No, I just got charged. I got charged for it, and then I'm like, well, what am I supposed to have to call? It was always a hassle with something, but once they started saying like peak minutes versus, I had to go through the list, and I'm looking, I'm like, man, I know I ain't going 1 minute this month. They got $10 says I was abused as a child. All I wanted was a G.I. Joe action figure with the Kung Fu grip. Never got it. I had to join the military, and I still don't have one.
Hey, wait, man. 4 years ago, folks was paying for unlimited data. This nigga struggling for unlimited minutes.
I'm sorry.
All right, Viz. Hey, boy, my man JR was opening that paper bill up, adding up the minutes. No, I didn't go for this. No, I was on point.
Oh man.
Hey, P, accountability partner, $10 says, shout out to the panel sisters. Y'all looking phenomenal. Callie, Nay, stunning. To my, what that say? Brothers holding it down. Good convo. Hink, Viz, Luis, True. And of course, the mastermind, Lapeef, JR. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, AP.
Lastly, Prophecy Savior, $5 says, quick question. How come women are so, how you say that word?
Vicarious? No. Vociferous?
Vociferous.
With being on the internet. I'm gonna write that one down.
Yeah, I gotta look that up, man. What the hell that mean?
I don't feel alone now. Shit, I ain't the only with men on the internet or in these live streams, denigrating them, but can't tell your kids nothing.
Hey, wait, hold on.
Vociferous means like so outspoken.
This says, especially of a person or speech, vehement or clamorous.
We gotta look up those words too.
To even understand the meaning of this, you have to look up the words that's in the meaning.
Y'all don't know how to use ChatGPT? Just go ChatGPT, dumb it down for a third grader, and they'll do it.
Yeah, no, I get that, but the fact that this nigga even pulled this out of his vocabulary on the internet is crazy.
All right.
Expressing opinions or feelings loudly and forcefully.
That's what I said.
Yeah, exactly what Amira said.
Y'all vociferous on this. No, I'm just.
Well, you can't give folks a new word, man.
Bye, Louise.
Hold on, guys. I'm not gonna leave, but my camera is detecting something, so I'm gonna go check that out. I'll be right back.
The camera detected something. It's probably a fox. All right.
Hopefully, but that won't.
Well, Nate, can you still hear?
Somebody left.
Yeah, I can take that with me.
Okay. All right. Hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel, man. Let's go ahead and get into this topic, man. We got Mr. Piers Morgan. Man, he had a little situation that went down on his show. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip, man. Let's get into it. Y'all ready? All right, here we go. I'm gonna play the first part of it. I'm gonna break it up.
18-year-old Carmelo Anthony is a black teenager charged with stabbing a white boy to death at a school track meeting in April. More than $600,000 in donations have poured in, not for the victim's grieving family, but for his alleged killer. Last week, Shiloh Hendricks went viral after a video showed the young mother racially abusing a 5-year-old, allegedly for stealing from her young child.
Call him a child? Did you call the child word? It is my own business. You call him a... Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? Fuck you. Huh? All right, that's what you say. Nobody dig into your shit. A little fucking kid just did, you dumbass. That little kid, you call him yeah. The little child? What if he acts like one is gonna... Are you about to hit him? You chase him here? He took my son's stuff. So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old.
Well, as you can see, Hendricks doesn't deny using the slur. In fact, she repeats it many times. That's all the stuff that's bleeped out. When a bystander in the park follows her with his smartphone. Hendricks set up a fundraiser on the same website as Carmelo Anthony's supporters, on which she wrote, "I called the kid out for what he was." Incredibly, that campaign has now raised more money than the first one, surpassing $655,000 at the time of taping the show. Well, the boss of the website, Give, Send, Go, is accused of facilitating brazen racism on a platform whose motto is "Money is temporary, Jesus is eternal." He will join me later.
All right, immediate reactions, man. What are you guys feeling about that? I recall seeing that story, man. I don't think I looked too much into it until I came across this story. It's pretty wild.
Wait, so that's the mother of the son who was killed?
No.
Okay, I'm just asking. I thought that's what the correlation was. Okay.
No.
I think it was two different topics time. I think he was like telling one topic about the Carmelo Anthony and then telling another topic about this 5-year-old that apparently took a snack from this other kid, and then the mom came and started like cursing at the 5-year-old, calling him the N-word and all that stuff.
Well, I think his point of comparing the two is that you have one side with Carmelo Anthony where of course, predominantly Black people supported his cause in which he was raising money, and at the same time, with the other side seeing that and saying, "This is not right." But you know what? Since this person that looks like us did something that the other side disagrees with, we're going to do the same thing that Carmelo Anthony supporters did as well. So I think this is actually a perfect mirror of what it is our society looks like, and where people will, in my opinion, support outright things that we deem as being wrong or insensitive, but we support it solely because this person looks like me, and not going off of the morality of what the situation actually is.
All right, go ahead, Dan.
When I saw it, I couldn't. It's like Viz just said it. He just basically summed it up, and it's just like trying to talk to those. Like when I see the comments and the people trying to justify it, it's like talking to a wall. At some point, it's just like you just feel like this is the who can kill each other. Well, I don't understand who can attack each other the most, or I really don't understand. But one thing I do notice is that both sides tend to get two different facts. When it initially hits, each side's getting two completely different stories that makes them, entitled to the belief system that they already have. And then it's like, at that point, it's hard to be like having empathy. But yeah, I don't want to speak too much on that situation either, because I still have empathy for the little boy, the white dude who lost his life, because even the guy who was fighting him had empathy for him. You know what I'm saying? But when you in the mindset of self-defense, it's like, but I'm tired of seeing stuff like that. So that's my opinion. As far as like people trying to justify stuff for those just because of a race, and I've seen it in our race too. I've seen our people do some ignorant shit, and it was like, oh, well, what has white people done to us? And I'm like, if we don't fix this soon, we'll eventually become them. Like, don't let us take over now, because a lot of innocent people who probably would like marches or to do a protest with us, they'll probably get attacked because we haven't fully healed or, forgave in order for us to move forward, which is something the Native Americans had to do in order to get to where they are today. So had to forgive people that ain't sorry, And then at that point, you could really make a move and do something different within your community.
All right. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think that I don't know the totality of the young man with the defense when they were trying to compare the two issues. I think the point, because I looked at that Piers Morgan thing in its entirety, and what the gripe was how could the community support the young man from the GoFundMe and then flip it on this young lady having a racial anguish to against this child, and then the Black community is saying, oh, that's wrong. But basically I think what they were explaining was that it wasn't the fact that they were funding the young man and saying what he did was right. It was to help him with his legal fees, I believe, so that he can ultimately have a good, strong defense. This is what they were saying. I'm not saying it's right necessarily, Viz, but that's what they were trying to spell out. But I'll say personally, the lady in the park with the kid, I just think that lady's unhinged. Like, how can you find yourself to, spit a racial slur at a child? Children, when they interact and they playing, they don't always mean anything wrong. Kids take stuff all the time, push each other over all the time, things like that. So, and I don't know what's wrong with that lady mentally to where she felt necessary to have to bully a child. And then where's that kid's parent? How did this even go down? How did this transpire? So we still got a lot of hate in this nation, unfortunately.
And we never know. Maybe the kid's parent walked away because they didn't want to have confrontation, and then it be flipped to now it's like, oh, you have, this parent acting a certain way. So I think that the woman that started doing the racial slurs and calling out the 5-year-old is wrong. That's a 5-year-old at the end of the day. Like you stated, it's way different than the Carmela and everything, because that's two young kids going at it, right? Not that there's right thing or wrong thing, but it's just that's between those two young kids. There was no adult involved in that process.
Somebody lost their life. How was that way different?
Huh?
I think it's different because
it's different because it's different because the whole Carmelo Anthony stuff. We're talking about two different things as far as the mom talking to a 5-year-old, like she's attacking a 5-year-old for taking a snack when there are other ways to just approach the situation. Like you could have just said, hey, like, don't do that, give that back. We see that all the time. Like when you go to the park with your kids, a kid takes something from your kid, no, give it back. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to sit there and be like, F you and you little N-word and this and that. Like, you're not going to do that. Like,
well, yeah. So by that same exact logic,
mm-hmm.
we've all, you're not a man. So,
no,
but we've all in high school had encounters with someone that may have been a bully or someone that we may have felt was a bully.
Yeah.
We didn't kill them. We didn't delete them.
Yeah. 100%.
I'm not here to pick sides of who was right and who was wrong. Again, both parties, in my opinion, were wrong in what it was that they were doing, that they did.
Yeah.
But to try to justify one as being more right than the other, I think is
no, I'm not
point.
justifying that one is right. I'm saying they're two completely different scenarios. One was between one person, like you can't compare.
No, my point of saying that is, again, I think the reasoning as to why he mentioned this is the fact that there's one group that says him deleting this young boy over a scrap, over something that every man, a young man, or in even females have encountered at some point in time in life, in high school, has dealt with. They didn't delete them. So the same way that it's like, okay, this is something that people experience and people supported it. So the fact that the other side is seeing this, and then they now see someone do something on the opposite side of the spectrum, it's okay. Well, since they did that, we're going to support this. So I think that was the comparison of what Piers Morgan.
Is it kind of like two wrongs make a right kind of deal? Because what I was talking about was just like, why are you approaching a 5-year-old? You know, as far as like the thing that I had with Carmen, of course, we've all been bullied. I actually had a situation where one of the bullies tried to throw my brother off of a bridge. So like, I get how far bullying can go. I'm not saying what he did was right. I'm not saying that. Definitely 100%. You could always handle situations a lot better. You don't have
But
to unalive somebody because that's not what I did when that situation arose. But
the problem is that a lot of people are saying that it was right, that it was justified.
I think that, but that's well, the point I was trying to draw from what I gathered from what Piers Morgan said was this is no different almost like the George Zimmerman situation. People funded George Zimmerman's campaign for support, legal support. I'm not saying it's right. I think that that's in the same vein. This young man was wrong. We can clearly state he was wrong. He handled it incorrectly. There's no reason to ever take someone's life by force, in my honest opinion. However, it doesn't to diminish that as a community, if you want to move in that manner, that this young man needed support from a legal perspective. And that's where I think it gets a little murky because we move our morality and our standard of morality when it's convenient. You know, he needs lawyers. Right, wrong, or indifferent, people felt it necessary to patronize the situation and assist. Now, if we want to argue, was he morally correct? Clearly, no. But in the law of this land, you need lawyers to defend yourself. You go, due process and all those things. However, like Callie's saying, I just don't understand a fully functional adult, spitting vitriol to a child in a racial capacity. Like,
yeah, that's all I was saying. Like, I just can't comprehend like why a mother at that. Like, I'm not a mother, but like I still have those maternal instincts in me. Like, I don't have the mindset to go. There have been children that like pissed me off, but I don't have the mindset to go and like just start honing in on them. Like, I have a little bit more grace because they are kids and it is up to us to lead them in the right direction. But where do you think the mentality will go when you're 5 years old and the first thing you witness as you're learning to handle your emotions and live, you're encountering someone, especially an older woman, coming at you, calling you all these names and things like that? Like, that at 5 years old, that could be traumatizing to a 5-year-old, especially when they're, they don't know, a lot of times they don't even know what they did wrong. And so that's why it's like, we have to also think about that too. Like, when does this end? Like, when does it end?
I agree with you, but
video too, y'all. So
I agree with you, Callie, but you're saying that a 5-year-old doesn't know that they're stealing something that somebody else's.
No, I'm saying that a lot of times when
He
you're
was
5
autistic,
years
5-year-old. Make sure you throw that in there. Autistic. From somebody who helped raise an autistic child, that matters.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that either. That makes it even worse because when you have autism, you act out in spurs. Like you act out because you don't know how to articulate or control certain emotions as someone that doesn't have that. So you tend to be a lot more rambunctious and boisterous when you have that because you don't know how to communicate effectively. So that's someone that has special needs. That's a 5-year-old child that has special needs that didn't know what was going on. So I feel bad for the 5-year-old. I feel that it was wrong that the mom did that.
All right. We got to go ahead and switch it up. Don't nobody else say nothing, please. Let's go ahead and switch it up. All right. So that was the first part of that video. Now we're going to go ahead and get to the meat of the conversation.
Gaddis, you posted a defense of Shiloh on X. It's been viewed 2.5 million times, in which it was entitled, "White People Are Finally Fighting Back. Stand with Shiloh Hendricks." What did you mean by that?
Here's the thing. White people have been under attack for years. It's been systematic racism. As much as Black people and people of color want to talk about systematic racism in the United States, it's quite the opposite. They get preferential treatment when it comes to getting a job, when it comes to getting into colleges. White people, on the other hand, have been getting attacked relentlessly. Look at 2016 and BLM and all the riots. We just had to sit back and watch people burn down our cities and do nothing about it. So the way to fight back against essentially this anti-white hatred that's been systemically, ingrained in U.S. society is with white unity. We don't see white unity on our side.
Hang on. Okay, but hang on. Sorry, just to be clear, This has got nothing to do with anything you've just said. This is a disgusting, racist woman who repeatedly spews the N-word, first at a young child, and then at the person taking the video of her, does it with complete impunity, does it numerous times. We are talking about a bona fide, unquestionable racist. And so I don't understand why what you've just said to me bears any relation to white unity or anything that you've just said. She's just a racist. End, isn't she? You wouldn't dispute that.
It's not about her. It's not about her. It's about
Well, it is about her.
coming together and supporting another white person. And it doesn't matter.
Why would you want to support a white racist?
Because I want to support free speech, and you cannot have free speech in a country.
No, that's fine. You can support free speech, but you also have to be accountable for what you say. She is. I mean, would you use the N-word out of interest?
Yes.
You would.
I do quite frequently.
You use the N-word quite frequently. Well, why? Other than the fact you're a despicable racist, are you?
Some would say I am. I guess according to the ADL, I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi.
Yeah. Well, if you use the N-word repeatedly, you are a racist, then, are you? Are you?
Sure, I'll embrace that. If that means forwarding, helping white people achieve freedom of speech, real freedom of speech, which, by the way, Shiloh Hendricks is being attacked on all fronts. They're trying to bring legal charges against her. They're trying to get her children taken away. So you were saying Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't matter. That's a different.
Sorry, but just to be
thing.
clear, you just said to me you use the N-word regularly. In what context? Do you use it with black people?
Yes, if it's appropriate.
When would it be appropriate to use the N-word?
Black people.
When would it be appropriate?
Anytime I feel like it.
What?
So you're an unashamed racist.
Correct.
Well, do you understand that makes you a despicable human being?
I guess so. I don't really care. I mean, why are we not talking about Shiloh Hendricks? Why are we talking about?
Well, actually, I think you've moved it on in this debate very quickly to your own racism, which explains why you've supported her in public and why you've got all these views. You see no problem with a woman shrieking the N-word repeatedly because you yourself are a despicable racist, and you've just proudly admitted that with a smug grin on your face, which is pretty horrifying, actually, for most people to have to watch. And shame on you. You're entitled to do it, and I'm entitled to call you despicable.
Well, shame on white people for allowing themselves to be systematically discriminated against in the United States. This is our country. This is a country that should be.
What do you mean your country?
Because I'm white and my.
Well, there are no black people in American history. Is that what you're saying? That they've all just landed in America, invading your white country? Is that your position?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they were brought here technically.
My God, do you understand how dumb you sound?
This is stupid. This is stupid and racist. And at some point, we have to ask ourselves: do we want to reward this kind of disgusting behavior by platforming it?
I don't disagree, Mark. Listen, I didn't know she was going to say that. I don't disagree with you.
No. Yeah. I'm with you. I don't think you knew ahead of time. I'm saying at this moment, someone who's saying it's technically black people brought up. No, technically. Africans were stolen, enslaved, and they built this country. And the idea that you can justify calling a baby the N-word by saying that white people are losing the country is absurd. It's morally bankrupt, and it's honestly besides the point. I mean, all these are just distractions from the fact that she wants to justify dehumanizing and even animalizing a small black child. It's disgusting.
What is it?
Yeah, I never said that.
No, but you may as well have done because you're just an unashamed.
That's the implication of your
racist. Let me bring in Myron Gaines because you've been smirking and laughing. What's funny about any of this?
Go ahead, Dad. You want to say something?
I don't like how people are trying to make it seem like it's the same thing. We've seen over history that when Black people don't get the representation that they deserve, they don't get a fair shot. When I first heard the story, that was my main concern. Let's give this guy a fair shot. Let's make sure he have enough money to support these lawyers or even help the media be on his side, because let's not forget they be paying the media in order to sway whatever decision is going to be swayed. So, and these are two people that's the same age, background. These Kids used to bully people. They're twins. They used to jump on people together, all this type of stuff. Now, y'all mad that y'all raised Black people to kill each other in the terms of self-defense. This is something common amongst the Black community. So for them to make it seem like, oh, they're just targeting white people. No, this is behaviors we exhibit amongst each other. Okay, when Black men go out there and fight each other, they pull guns. This is something that we have. But now that it's spilling over into your community because we got to share the same land, now it's a problem. And that's what I don't like about it. Give that man the fair shot and the fair case. I can't say whether he's right or wrong, because then when you heard about details of it, oh, it was a cleat. He wasn't carrying a knife. It was a cleat. So now it's like, okay, was he carrying a knife or was it a cleat? I still don't know, because we won't know until it actually comes out in court, because the police said it was a knife, but then at the same time, it was a white police officer. We've seen too many times as Black people where police officers have given poor information in order to sway cases, and it doesn't come out until when they actually get in court. Like they said that young Black boy, the young wrestler who killed himself and wrapped himself up in a mat. We've heard ridiculous stories about Black people. Now, like I said, I don't know if he's right or wrong, but most people was like, okay, when it comes down to white men, we notice they get off because they support each other. And we notice that they have fair representation because they support each other. That's what happened with Zimmerman. I don't know if he was right or wrong, but what I do see is a product of what y'all wanted us to be, spilling over into y'all environment. And now y'all want to, oh, well, we got to hold them. Well, make sure you hold them motherfuckers accountable too when them MFers accountable too when they come over and be killing our kids that has nothing to do with gang banging and stuff like that. Now, as far as comparing that to a grown woman, we as Black people talk about, I mean, not kids, but we talk about this racial stuff all the time. I ain't never seen no Black kid, no Black mother tell a white little boy some racial slurs. And you feel me? Never. I have never seen that. And that's why I feel like our people is special, because all the trauma we endured, we still don't do retarded, ignorant shit like this. And you can't compare it. That's a kid who can't defend himself against an adult. That's a big difference. Where at first it was a Black dude against twins. Not one twin, two twins. So no, I'm not doing it.
There's plenty of videos of Black women doing that to Black children.
Listen to what I said.
I heard what you said.
One is racially motivated. One was self-defense. That's my point.
If Black women are doing that to Black children, do you really think that they're not doing it to white children?
Yes, because I've seen Black people treat each other worse than they would treat the white counterpart who would do the same thing that a Black kid did. If a white kid step on a Black dude's shoes, he might stick in him like he do. So I have a question. Why aren't the little white boys on the L that they got all this stuff on, jewelry, stuff that's valuable? Why aren't they getting robbed like the Black boys on the L? Because we've been taught to do it to our community versus their community. That's why I said I don't think.
Are you serious?
I don't think that Black kids.
Do you watch the news?
I don't think this is my closing argument, and I'm gonna just say this. This is my closing argument. I don't think the Black kid who stabbed them white kids, I don't think that was racially motivated. I think what the white lady did to that little boy, that was racially motivated. And I think the people that supported her, it had to do with racially motivated. When it comes to the Black dude, and I think against hate racially motivated in terms of hate towards Black people. I think Black people definitely supported the Black dude based on race, but not in terms of fuck white people, but more so like we need to support him, make sure he has the same representation. That's my closing argument.
All that you have to do is look at any post, go to the Shade Room, go to World Star Hip Hop, and look at the comments on any post that's referring to him. And every single comment will be racially motivated against white people. We have to be real here. No. Let me finish talking. Let me finish talking.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We have to be real here. I'm with you. I get it. White people has done all these terrible things to us over the course of the years, over the hundreds of years. I get it. I'm not here to pick sides. I'm here to call it out as what it is. And what it is that the majority of Black people are supporting what this young man did solely because he's black and what it is that white people have done to black people. The same way that white people are supporting this woman that's clearly racist and feels comfortable enough to use these racial slurs, they're doing the same exact thing solely because she's white, and they're aligning and they're being on code. These are two wrongs that don't make a right. So we have to call it out as what it is, and not try to not try to pour honey on some bullshit, and which is going to do nothing but continue to keep going, and it's not going to get better at no point.
This, what I feel like is you're trying to say he's guilty without the court of law. With his situation, it has to do with the court. The court's going to decide whether he's guilty or not. What that woman did is clear as day, racially motivated. That's
What
the thing.
he
You
did,
finding a black
what
man
the
guilty
facts
without him
of
going
what
through
it
the
is
court
that we
system.
know, the
Wait.
facts of what it is that we know is that a young boy is dead. He's not here anymore. Those are the facts. The facts is that it wasn't a cleat. That was false information. The same way that they were saying that, oh, he had ecstasy in his system. That was false as well. So we let's be a buck here and call it is what it is. I'm not here to pick sides. I'm just calling it out as what it is.
When you say stuff like that, it's like you make it seem like it was 30 years ago when they give out false facts to us. That's why I said wait until the court case goes through. Everything that you're getting is still could be false facts. You know what I'm saying? Just like everything I'm getting still could be false facts. What that lady was doing on camera is clear as day. That's what I'm saying. Give him a fair chance the same way they give those white people a fair chance when they're in the same situation. That's not fair. And when it comes down to these black people, when I first looked at this, you know what? I've seen when it first came out, I'm not talking about before it came popular. I've seen black people like, dang, it's wrong. I can see how, you feel me? They could be upset about this. But then there was some ignorant ass white people who thought it was racially motivated. And guess what? And I'm pretty sure y'all seen it on Facebook too. People were sharing the post saying, y'all need to get in these comments. Now that's when it became more of a racially motivated thing, because they was like, look how these white people tear him up. Look how they finding him guilty before he actually get a trial. If we don't say something and we don't say he needs a fair trial, which most of the black people were saying, because it's self-defense based on other facts that we was hearing and facts that they were getting, we won't know the truth until the facts come out in trial. But we're not going to sit here and say that y'all get to determine what facts that you know what I'm saying? Y'all get to determine what facts are true. No, that's what the court determines. That's what we're saying. That's two different things.
The police department, the toxicology report that came out a day after the boy was unalived. That never happens.
I understand that, Fizz,
so
but what
no, you don't understand that, because you're ignoring me saying that the clear evidence of the facts, not something that the internet is telling you. The clear evidence, be it if it's fake or not, right? Be it if the police department is withholding that information. The fact of the matter is that those things that was being placed on the internet is not true. So
we gotta make sure we gotta make sure we get other folks involved.
Cool. I'm not here to pick sides. Let me just make that clear. In my opinion, both people are wrong. Carmelo is wrong, and that white woman is wrong. In my opinion, I'm not picking sides. I'm just simply calling it out as it is.
All right. Let's go ahead and check with Nay and Callie. Y'all want to hop in there? If y'all scared, I just go into somebody else, man. Y'all.
No, I was just eating, but first I want to touch on their little conversation. I think what he's saying is, and I have like a similar stance, I'm not gonna lie. I think what he's saying is, like, when he sees like cases like this, he likes to take race out of it. Me personally, I do too. I mean, some things are blatantly racist, but at the end of the day, like you said, right is right, wrong is wrong. But sorry if y'all see my cat in the back, but as far as like the video and what happened, because actually I seen the show, and after that it got a little worse. They tried to like make. I don't know if you're gonna get into that, so I ain't even gonna get into that. But I think we gotta pay attention to like what she said. It don't matter what case was presented in front of her, she would have had the same stance. She's gonna stick up for her people because she believes we're not supposed to be here. When dealing with those types of white people, it's not even an argument, because at the end of the day, they think like we're animals. We're not supposed to be here. We're this, we're that. They don't see us as people. They don't see us as rightfully having freedom, rightfully having a say, any of that. So I don't know. I think like she was definitely wrong. I love how Piers clocked her on that. And then after that clip, they all definitely clocked her on that. But with that being said, yeah, I don't like people like that. You just can't even give attention to, because she's brainwashed into thinking like this is our world, like this is our country. Y'all aren't supposed to be here. So for her, it's just like, okay, well, this wouldn't have happened if y'all weren't here, if y'all stayed where y'all were at. It don't matter. Like to us, like yes, that history is important. It's very important. But to her, that's not her history. It's not important. She was raised by a white mom, white dad. So that's all she's gonna see. She don't live that life. Even her saying like, well, you never see this happening or this happening, and in the white community, like this happens and nobody does anything. We had to stand back and watch everything happen during the whole BLM movement. We were in that movement. We lost people in that movement. We got people who got hurt in that movement. People's lives were changed like completely because of that movement. So it's like it affects us because it was us. It's not going to affect her. She's not going to see that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think that Piers Morgan did a wonderful job letting it be known that he will not tolerate any racism on his panel or on his show. So shout out to Piers Morgan and the people that stood up to that, because what she said was wrong. And I think that, yeah, what Nye said, like, unfortunately, with people that are pro their own race, they're going to say outlandish and outrageous things. Okay, you, like he said, you can have freedom of speech, but you're still going to have to account for what you say just as much as you're going to have to account for what you do. So as far as if we want to go into the whole why together, we'll find out on the trial what happened, what transpired, what led to that, because I did professional fighting. I understand that you hit someone a certain way, it'll knock them out. So she said it was with the cleat. If she hit him in the head a certain way with the cleat, it could have stabbed into his head. Then that could have been, I don't know what transpired. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I have no freaking idea what happened to that. I wasn't really paying attention, but at the end of the day, we'll find out what happens with that trial and see what transpired, what happened to that. Now, it's still sad that, a teenager did have to lose his life over an altercation that didn't need to transpire in itself. So that is still a sad situation, and, that is sad to the family. But as far as the woman, again, the woman sitting there trying to call a 5-year-old an N-word, I just don't see that any justification in that. I don't see anything why that would be okay or appropriate to do, especially because you're older to handle situation. You are older, so you should know how to handle situations accordingly, especially when it comes to kids. And you have kids yourself. So especially if you have multiple kids, you should be able to break up. I'm sure if you have multiple kids, you're able to be like, hey, don't steal from your brother, or hey, don't do this. You're able to say it in a way where it doesn't have to be so derogatory. And then the woman that was justifying it and saying we need to stand up for all this is like, okay, like what is the purpose of you going on a live show to say all of this? What are you looking to achieve? Okay, you want to kick all the black people out? That's not going to happen. So everything that you're saying, well, that's what she said, right? She said that, we're reclaiming our country and black people, whatever. So if that's what you want to do, it's not going to happen. So you even spewing that or saying that on live TV, there is absolutely no purpose for 90% of the shit she said. She could have just kept that with her and her little friends and did that. But she ended up making a fool out of herself. And now she's viral for it. And now the whole world sees her for what she is. So maybe it is a good thing she said that, because now let's get exposed and expose the people that are blatantly out here spreading racism, spreading hate, all because they don't know how to, whatever internal shit they got going on within themselves. But
and it don't matter because she's about to lose her career. So
yeah, I mean, you're gonna lose everything. Like this whole thing's gonna be televised, and it's like, okay, like I get it. Like you know, I get with the whole Carmelo Anthony, we don't know what happened, but at the end of the day, there was a child that lost its life. And at the end of the day, I'm not for children losing their lives because, you know, that it's unnecessary. But I don't know what happened. So I don't really want to speak on that because I have no facts and I don't want to say anything that's going to, you know, that I might be wrong about. If I'm going to speak on something, I want to know the whole shit. I want to know everything, the ins and out before I speak on something, because I could be speaking out my motherfucking ass for all I know. But yeah, that's where I stand.
What we know is one young man is alive and one young man is not here anymore. Also, I think that we forget what the internet is now, and a lot of people get on these television shows on the internet to literally troll people. If I'm correct, and I don't know if JR is going to play more clips of it, but I believe the one young lady, the white woman that was defending her, is actually a comedian or a social media influencer of some sort. So this isn't going to affect her in some type of negative way. This is only going to make her bigger and grow her platform as to what it is that she's saying, in which, in my opinion, again, feeds back into the fact that we as Americans, regardless if you black, white, Asian, whatever color it is, the fact that this is going to continue to feed into the fact that we will never be able to come together, because these simple discrepancies in which we all can agree that morally is incorrect, we still choose to pick a side solely based off of race, even if we don't agree with what's happening. So that's my stance in these situations. Color is an issue, yes. Was the young lady wrong for saying these words to this young child? Absolutely, 100%. Was that young man incorrect and wrong in his ways for deleting this young boy because they got into a scrap? Absolutely. It doesn't matter. And I think that that's where we're losing sight, and why it is that in the black culture we can delete ourselves at the rate that we're doing it and not feel nothing from it. And I'll land now.
All right, let me get a mirror now. Mirror, what you thinking? Okay. While she's doing that, let me just grab these couple of super chats that came in. About Life Entertainment 499 says, "Let it go, die. Stay beautiful. Be a state captain for the white supremacy." And white splaining for them doing these topics, which is okay. No echo chamber. Dub Will 999 says, "I don't know if Carmelo is guilty or not, but just because one person is dead doesn't make it an open and shut case. Justified homicide exists. Let's wait till all the facts come out in court."
So we have seen more videos online of Black ladies being racist to white children on playgrounds, telling them, oh, like they were correcting. I saw this one in particular where the lady was correcting the little white girl, which was proper. Okay, correct her. But then she started making side comments like, oh yeah, teach her that her privilege doesn't work here, or something like we taking her privilege away one child at a time, or something like that. And that was completely unnecessary. But we see more cases of minorities saying out-of-pocket things to white people, but it's not taken the same way. The only ones that get heavy weight behind them are the ones where white people do it to minorities. That's when people are like, rah, 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 rah. That's a big deal. And that woman was wrong. Of course, I don't think anybody who watched that video thinks that, oh yeah, she's right. She really told that kid. It was stupid, but we see more of it in the other direction. And it is what it is. And white people just have to shut up and just take it, even though they've never owned slaves. they don't own anybody, and whatever their ancestors did, they're not responsible for it. But they still have to shut up and take it. And it is more common the other way around. As for Carmelo, I don't know anything about Carmelo. So I can't, I don't, did he kill somebody? He killed somebody? Oh, and he killed a white boy. A white boy. No, I mean, killing is it's one of those things where you got to know the whole situation that happened. So I don't really know the whole situation that happened, so I won't speak on that.
Yeah, I think I can appreciate what you're saying, Amira, but how do I approach this? I think that for the social condition that we live in this country, it is never going to be a fair distribution of treatment. It's never going to be a fair distribution of how people move about the world. So I personally don't think Black people collectively have the power nor the organization to be racist to the dominant society. Prejudice, absolutely. Have visceral energy, absolutely. Have discrepancies, absolutely. But if you're telling me that in the current state of affairs, that the people who feel invigorated to speak against their discrepancies to the dominant society, the unmelanated people, is a problem, I don't know if I can subscribe to that, because we as just the minority group have never been in a position to overexert racial divide, racial implication. Prejudice, anger, disdain, sure. So to see now that you got a demographic of people who ultimately dictate almost everything in this country on a global scale, from media to business to narratives, to feel bothered is laughable to me.
You're saying that they shouldn't feel bothered? I mean, they should just shut up and take it, like whatever Black people say to them?
No, I think that it's a great position to now meet at a mutual terms and maybe iron out our discrepancies. I think to approach it from a place of anger is laughable. It's like, you have to understand the weight of both sides. Yes, you're right. Their community, the ones living now, maybe under 40 or so, maybe didn't own slaves, sure. But the reality is this country was built on racism. It is still functioning a lot of times with disparities, current day. Now, Black people ain't ultimately, I believe, mad about it because we're making our strides. But then to now try to meet it with energy like, well, it's not fair that I got to be quiet. It's not fair that a lot of crap happened. Life's not fair. So that's where I think that's rich. You know, this is a perfect opportunity to have the collective communities, our leaders or whomever, have civil discourse and figure out how we gonna move forward as a society. But when you sit here and be like, we need to take back our country, that's laughable, yo. Black people ain't taking nothing from unmelanated people, and I'll land.
I hate to say this, and I already know the comments is gonna do what they're gonna do, because they, y'all feel like I'm white or whatever. I want to be white or whatever. But the truth of the matter is that, and she brought up a very good point. In my opinion, the BLM riots did a more disastrous impact on our own community because we targeted our own communities. And my grandparents had to lose a Walgreens that was in walking distance of their house because niggas ran up inside of it and tore it up. So, in my opinion, when I hear someone say that we need to take back our country, I think that, to me, that is them saying we need to bring back law and order, because the very things in which we supposed to stand for, the very things that us as Black people should be standing 10 toes down saying, hey, no, take that shit over there, bro. That's what we should be saying, but we're not saying that. We're tearing up our own communities. We're running up in Walmarts, we're running up in Family Dollars, and then we're pissed when these companies leave our communities and be like, man, we don't have nowhere to go now. We ran in our own shit. So in my opinion, when I hear somebody say, man, we need to take back our country, I think I personally hear that, man, we need to bring back law and order, and where it's decency and where we understand the impact and the power of our community and what it is and how it is that we treat it, so that we can get what it is that we want and need out of it. Because these young niggas is running up in the communities, but we're forgetting about the old people that live in those communities, that can't leave those communities. So what about them?
Biz, do you know, somebody brought up something in the chat, and it's a good point, that George Soros funded much of that BLM stuff. And you think that George Soros gives a hoot about the Black community? He
making money off of them.
Yeah, he's, and then like, I mean, this is destruction on the Black community more than anything. It's not, but whatever. Maybe some people see that as a good thing.
I don't know. I see where y'all coming from.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. You can go first if you want. Okay. I see where y'all coming from, and I don't mean to compare, but the same thing happened when they stormed the Capitol. And I know as far as my city, when they stormed the Capitol, the white people went to our downtown area and they wreaked havoc. And nothing came about that. The next day, they literally went down there and fixed it back up. So the only difference between us doing it and them doing it is the fact that they have the funds to fix it. I think this happens all over. I think on both sides. I think we just need to stop pointing fingers. At the end of the day, we're all human. There's like, we can't just say like, oh, all Black people are good, all Black people are bad, all white people are good, all white people are bad. Like I said before, I feel like it's a fetish with race at this point, and we just gotta learn how to overcome that. We have a lot of our rights back at this point, so we got to do what we can do to become better people.
But that's my point, though. Again, we see a situation of where us during the BLM riots, where we tore up our own cities. I'm from Chicago. I watched Chicago, downtown Chicago. I was staying downtown Chicago at the time. I was sitting, I came outside to make sure nobody fucked with my car as I'm watching people walking down the streets with liquor bottles, with brooms, with stuff that they're stealing from things that's in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm seeing this, and it's like, yo, I'm spending $2,000 to live down here in a one bedroom apartment, and I gotta worry about what's going on outside. That's, to me, I shouldn't have to do that. But at the same time, undoubtedly, them storming the Capitol was insane. But it's just as insane that we tore up our communities.
But that's what I'm saying.
We're in a situation. We're in a situation as to where neither one of these wrongs are right.
Exactly.
But yet we justify it depending on what side it is that we're on, instead of just calling a spade a spade. The BLM riots did not do a justification to our communities. Chicago, I can only speak on Chicago because I'm from there. Chicago, Walmart's closed, Walmart's left the hood because people was running in them and looting.
But that's the thing. You gotta realize that's two different instances. There were people marching and there were people looting. Most of the people
which one is going to impact the communities that we live in more?
Right, the looting.
People
But that's
loot,
what I'm
people
that's what I'm
looting or
saying.
people marching.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So we can't categorize the marching, like that's the BLM movement. That looting, that was just people trying to get free shit at the end of the day. They
Which
figured,
is a
you know what, they
problem,
all out
but
there
we
stealing, let me go
justified
too.
it. It's a problem, but we justified it.
I feel you,
Even
but all right, me personally, I'm from
even
Philly.
for
So
people.
here we don't see race, we don't see color, we don't see any of that. In Philly, like everybody, you just do what you do. So even during the looting and everything, there were black people out there, there were white people out there were Spanish people, there were Asians of every sort. Even when they stormed the Capitol, when they went and they did the same exact thing. Here, they did the same exact thing. Everything got taken down. Whether you was in the hood, whether it was downtown, whether it was in the suburbs, everything got taken down. And it didn't matter who did it. You get what I'm saying?
But that's why people calling you white supremacy, whitewash, because that white lady didn't say that too when she was talking about taking her country back to the white, talking about the autistic black boy. She talked to a little autistic. What does he have to do with taking your country back? And don't act like we're not the only ones undisciplined, because that's just what they publicize and put on the media. The white people just as undisciplined as us. If you look at their communities, their lower class and middle class communities, they're filled with drugs. When I looked into this rehab place, from 18 to 25, all of their kids in the middle and lower class, most of them that's enduring the hardships that we're enduring is in drugs. You know what I'm saying? So
You gotta stop
by
playing
them to
thinker.
say, oh, we're taking America back by making black people more disciplined. They ain't worried about making their people more disciplined. They ain't worried about their people taking up public aid because they thought it was mostly black people, but come to find out it's really mostly white people. They ain't talking about that. They just talking about making sure that the black people stay in order while we get to do whatever the F we want to do. Because why are you saying that to a child? That's what I'm saying. And then another thing, her actions are clearly racially motivated, regardless if our support was racially motivated or not, which I would think by the way you're speaking, I would think you would think like, oh, I'm glad my black community is on finally, on the same page. But we knew his actions were not racially motivated. That's the difference. Why are you supporting somebody whose actions are clearly racially motivated while we're supporting somebody who we just want to make sure that he gets the great representation? Now with that $400K, if he gets if he get put in jail because he's wrong, now we know, okay, this is well deserved. He had the correct representation. They did their homework. He made sure he had the funds to do their homework. So guess what? If he goes to jail, I'm not going to be mad, because I do feel like justice should be served regardless of your skin color. The difference is this situation, racially motivated, what he did, you don't know if that boy really felt like his life was threatened or not. I don't feel like his actions and his crime was racially motivated.
All right, I do got to get to this last clip. Let me go ahead and bring it up. Hit that like button again. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Here we go.
Hey, Myron, your last words on this.
Okay. Because I never got to respond to Myron's other.
The thing with tribalism, it's a natural human instinct. Like, we are literally designed to want to be in communities and want to be a part of a set of community because it ensures our survival. It's been that way since the beginning of time. So the thing is that people are typically going to align with people that share similar features, and that's why we have the tribalism we have going on right now. So the problem is it's not going to go anywhere. I think the problem is that we've had this penting up for literally decades, and this has been a response to it. You have people that are coming out and supporting someone who you guys might deem as a terrible racist, but I think it's also very important to understand how we got here, because if we're going to look at the smaller problem, we can't look at the bigger problem. And it's what I said before, unchecked systemic.
All right, Mark Lamont Hill, your last words on this.
This repeated use of the word, I think, first of all, I want to just register that as offensive, particularly as someone who doesn't identify as a member of that community and who is not, right? I think that's incredibly
I'm the definition of African-American. I'm the definition of African-American.
And troublesome, and to as a Sudanese American or an outsider who's using African American in a very technical term, the same way that Elon Musk is an African American, I think it is a bit disingenuous. But the bigger issue here, I think, is that this idea of equating of one side to the other side often loses track of this issue of power. To use his example, when Black people stand up and say, "Hey, let's build our own stuff. Hey, let's have a Black power movement," that is not the same as a white power. I'll let you speak uninterrupted. Let me finish, please, my Sudanese brother. So when a black person says, "Hey, let's preserve our culture," I have no problem with Italians or Irish people or anyone else saying, "Let's preserve our culture." But when we don't talk about ethnicity, but actual race, and when white people say, "Let's preserve whiteness," it's an exclusionary practice. It's about preserving laws and practices and tactics that do harm to other people. A Black Power movement was about opening stores and building businesses. A white power movement was a white power. That's the giga. A white power movement was about something very, 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 very different. A white power movement included lynchings and included Ku Klux Klan, etc. So let's not pretend that these are opposite sides of the same coin. When white people say, "Let's save our country," and even using the language of our country, when black people built this thing, when you say that, you're talking about forcing people out of the country. You're talking about laws that discriminate. You're talking about doing harm to people. Let's not pretend these are the same thing, just like these GoFundMe campaigns are not the same thing. I'm okay if everybody gets out of the GoFundMe industrial complex. I'd love that. But let's not pretend that supporting someone for a fair trial is the same thing as supporting a grown white woman berating and calling the N-word to a 5-year-old autistic black child. And the fact that everyone in here can't be unanimous in condemning that says exactly how they're not the same.
I totally agree. I'm going to go to Lily Gaddis and just ask you one more time. I mean, you've been so unashamedly proud of being a racist today, proud of using the N-word whenever you feel like it. You've had a bit of time to think about this. Is that how you want people to leave this panel debate, with thinking of you as a disgusting racist?
I don't really care what people think about me. As long as you care about what people think about you, you have no power and you lose your country. What I care about is freedom of speech. And if you're not allowed to say the most offensive things in this country, you do not have freedom of speech. I don't care what anybody says. So that's the main crux of this situation. That's what I care about with this situation. It is, we have lived for far too long in a country where you can have your life destroyed. And people say, "Oh, she doesn't need this money." Her life's destroyed, by the way. She'll never be able to get another job. She's got children to have to support. And I don't want to live in a country where you can say an inappropriate, rude thing, which, by the way, black people can say things to white people all the time and they never get canceled. There's no backlashing about this. I want to live in a country where people are allowed to say what they want unashamedly. And you will
go on,
not
then,
have
say
free-
it. Say
you
the
will
N-
not have
Go on,
free
say
speech.
go on. Say the N-word. Go on.
No. I don't want you to invite this woman to say a racially harmful term in front of me, because I'm the only on here. So if she says it, I'm the victim of it. So please don't invite her for ratings to call me the N-word, because that's basically what it's going to be. There's a bunch of white people up here, and one Uncle Tom on the left here, and asking her to say the N-word while I'm here is ridiculous. You would not sit here with a Jewish person and say, "Please use a Jewish slur in front of this Jewish." It's ridiculous. I understand you don't have any bad intent, Piers. I understand what you're trying to do, but we already know she's racist, and I don't want to invite a racial harm to me.
I hear you, and I accept that, and we'll leave it there. Thank you all very much.
I know. She just admitted she was racist, so I don't know what this whole debate is about. She blatantly said, "I'm a racist." That's what she said. So like why are we sitting up here oh, we can understand what she's saying? No, because it would be different if she said, "I'm not a racist. I just believe in this, and this is my standpoint." That would be a completely different thing than me saying, "I'm a racist. Let's take back our country," versus "I'm not a racist. Let's make this country better." Because here's the thing, we want to talk about looting, we want to talk about all that. Did you know in California that you can steal up to $1,000 and it's not even a felony or nothing? You'll get a slap on the wrist. Well, guess who proposed that whole ideal? It wasn't a black person. It was not a black person at all. It wasn't. And it's just
who votes for that person?
The state votes for
the Democrats.
What I'm saying,
who do Democrats who votes predominantly Democrats?
I don't know. People.
You know who?
People.
It's still a white
I'm not
regardless.
listen,
It's a white Democrat.
I would be disingenuous. I would be disingenuous if I say I follow politics all the way to the T. I don't. All I know is these are the laws. This is what imposed, and people voted for it. People voted for it. I live in a predominant, you want to say Democratic, but also I consider them a little bit more liberal than Democratic, but out here in California, because that's what it kind of is on the fence of. But for me, it's just
Liberals are Democrats.
Okay, well, for me, it's more of just hey, this person is, at the end of the day, there is a woman coming up here saying that she is racist. That's it. She's on a panel, she's on a live television stating the fact that she's racist, and this is what her belief is. Okay, you want to talk about freedom of speech? No one is saying we don't have freedom of speech. You have the freedom to say whatever you want to say. We're not going to jail you for it, but you're going to have to be accountable for what it is that you say. You can't just someone can't just walk up to you and, well, someone can. They can walk up to you and say whatever the hell they want. How you react to that is just as much freedom as someone coming up and saying that. So you can't sit up here and tell me we don't have freedom of speech. We do have freedom of speech. The problem with that is not every single person in this world is going to sit up there like, oh, he has freedom of speech, so I'm just going to hide in the corner and let his freedom of speech speak out. No, they're going to clock it as soon as it happens. If you come up to someone and say something outrageous, be prepared for whatever repercussion comes with it. That is just how it goes. So you can say whatever you want, but at the end of the day, you're going to be accountable for what you say, because it's not just about, I want to say whatever I want and I want to put people down. Because guess what? That's what I'm not going to say who, but that's what a really, really big leader did and took over lots of countries. And we had lots of camps and stuff that hurt a lot of different community that we learn in history books today. He had a freedom of speech, and look where that led. So
he didn't have a freedom of speech.
He said whatever he wanted to say, though. That's the thing. People are going to say what they want to say. And
he said what he wanted to say. The people didn't have the power to do that. I think that we're missing the context of it. And again, I get it. I get it. I'm not defending anyone in this position. What I'm defending is what the Constitution is. So the same way how she is saying that she has the ability to call somebody the N-word is the same way that this young man has the ability to go through a process through court to see if he is actually guilty or not guilty, and for people to be able to fund his defense. So I think that we're missing the context of what I think the big picture of why Pearson had these people on this panel is that, look, we are in America where you have the opportunity to say whatever the fuck you want to. And you also have the ability to legitimately unalive a person and go through due process to see if you are actually guilty or not guilty of that crime. And that is one of the beauties that is in America. Be it if you agree with it or not, be it if the courts have worked with us or not, with Black people or not, whatever your perspective of it is, this is what the Constitution was built off of. And I think that that's the point that she's trying to make. Not the opposite of what it is that we're trying to paint it out to be.
But we're not painting it out to anything. She blatantly said what she said to our face.
That's the point.
So it's like, okay, you're saying what you're saying, but you can't just say something and people not feel a type of way about it. People can't be upset about something that you're saying. It's like, what are we supposed to do? Like, I'm sorry. When
you can feel however the fuck it is that you want to, but it's my constitutional right.
No one's taking that away. She's not going to jail. People are just holding
mad
her
because people don't empathize with them as much as they empathize with us when we do
talk,
it.
We talk about accountability, but we talk about accountability. At what point does that accountability stop? Does that accountability stop because you have constitutional rights? No, it doesn't. What you say, we are going to hold you accountable for. So if you tell me to my face you are a racist, I'm going to think that everything that comes out of your face, out of your mouth, is going to constitute racism because you're telling me to my face I am racist. We cannot sit on these panels and talk about women need to vet better, women need to do better, but then when we hold a woman accountable for some shit that she's saying that's outlandish, we're going to sit up here and be like, oh, she's a woman. And there's her constitutional right to say that. That is her constitutional right to say that. But God damn it, what she's saying is wrong. What she's saying is stupid. And she's making a fool out of herself. And she deserves every repercussion that comes with that. Just like when you go to work and you say some stupid shit to a customer, your ass is going to get fired. You have the constitutional right to say it, but you're getting fucking fired for saying that shit to the customer and making the company look bad. That is exactly what's going to happen.
Who said that she shouldn't have to experience that? My point is that she can say that, and whatever comes with it, if she wants to deal with it, then so be it. That's
do you know why
my
the
whole
white lady
point.
was getting her home
Y'all
taken?
are
That's
y'all
what
are
I
trying
said.
to y'all are
But
trying
then
too
she
hard.
threatened the little black boy. You skipping over that. She threatened the little black boy. That's why the police got involved. And she admitted it on camera when the dude asked her about it. She threatened him. That's a crime. That's a crime. That ain't freedom of speech. That's a
What did
crime.
she threaten him and say?
He said that she threatened that she was gonna put her hands on him, like remove him from like away from her child. You can't do that. That's against the law. You can't put your hands on somebody else's kid, bro. And it's a kid, bro. Like it's a kid. It's not the same thing. It's not the same. And then you just mad because yeah, I do agree with what you're saying, Viz. It is a right and wrong. I don't agree with black people doing it. I don't do it to white people, but at the same time, I do have this itch where I sit back and watch it happen because now y'all white people mad that people not empathizing with the bullshit that y'all done put through to every race. Every race then said when they came up here at some point they endured some type of racial slander or belittling by white people when they're in their environments, and it makes some of them want to want their recognition more. So when they're being pandered, you're not gonna see a whole bunch of people sticking up for them. For what? They're the ones doing it to everybody else. They created this environment. So why the hell are like it doesn't make sense? So when it happens to black people, yeah, people gonna be like, yeah, I feel where you coming from because they be doing it to me too. Like it's like the enemy of your enemy is my friend. You're not gonna see too many people sticking up for them, and that's why I as a white person feel like, oh, black people can say and do whatever they want to do because yeah, we're the only ones bold enough to do it. And guess what? Other minorities feel like how we feel too. So that's their fault. Maybe they should be nicer.
And she,
I'm not
and
a. Go ahead.
I don't think she did complain about the ramifications. She clearly said verbatim, I do not want to live in a country where I cannot exercise freedom of speech without recourse. That's what she said, because she was complaining about the fact that this lady who had the feeling about the black little boy is now enduring ramifications for her slander.
She's trying to use the Constitution as an scapegoat to justify what she is saying. That is wrong. You cannot twist the Constitution to make it look like you can't say what you could say whatever the hell you want to say, but society is going to go ahead and make sure that you eat those motherfucking words.
That's my point.
And so I'm not saying that you're saying anything wrong. I'm just giving my standpoint, but I'm not saying that you're saying, okay, so if that's your point, then we're in agreement. Freedom of speech exists. You can say what you want, when you want, how you want, but you are going to have to eat those words. So speak wisely and think before you speak, because when you come on live television in front of a bunch of people, we're going to perceive you as exactly what you say. So whether you're being sarcastic or whether you're being genuine, it doesn't matter. You still said it. You have to eat it. You have to live through that. So now whatever comes with after that, that's entirely up to you. But don't sit up here and lie to the entire world saying, freedom of speech doesn't exist and we need to take our shit back. No, the hell it does exist, because if it didn't, your ass would have been arrested right after you said what you said. So don't sit up here and say that freedom of speech doesn't exist, because you can still go home, eat your food, and live freely. You're just not going to live as great of a life as you lived before because you said some outlandish shit.
That's not my point. I don't know why y'all not understanding that.
Let me say this. The bad thing about it is that she did it to a child. That's the sad part about it, in my opinion. That a child was a victim of this this verbal lashing this woman gave her, just I guess because his kid supposedly took her son's stuff from her. Look, she took the veil off her. We need to expose these type people. You need to expose them, and I'm okay with that. Now she let us know where she's staying, what side of the fence she on. Now we know. We adjust accordingly. That's all we can do. You're not gonna make rednecks gonna stop being racist. They're gonna be racist regardless if they say something, let it be known. They're gonna be racist if they don't let it be known. Doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So we just need to know what it is, and so allow the people to do what they need to do. You know, whether it's publicly shame them, bring it to people's attention, and make them feel some type of way because it said it. Yeah, do it. Do what we got to do. Put them out there. Put them on Front Street.
All right. Anybody else? Get to these super chats. Prophecy the Savior, $10 says, Callie, the sad thing about that is most people confuse fame with infamy. The reason being is that regardless, both makes them famous and receive support, so she won't get affected by this. My Life Entertainment 999 says, Via, do you realize that the Black Lives Matter riots was staged by a billionaire, WSLGBT, named George Soros? Also, white people were rioting with black people doing Black Lives Matter as well. Antifa was looting also. They're not black. The Will with the 999 says, Viz, I rock with you, but I watched that whole interview and the lady was not talking about law and order. She was clearly talking about white people supporting white people for the sake of being white. The Will again with the 499. I was with Mark to the end to go off like that because some rando white lady might have said the N word was weak as hell. The Will again, 499 says the First Amendment protects speech for governmental repercussions. It doesn't protect speech from social repercussions.
Clearly.
Prophecy to Save It $10 says, I think the issue is people confuse freedom of speech versus freedom of consequence, which is said shaking my head. You can say whatever you want, but there's always consequences, good or bad. And lastly, My Life, Your Entertainment with the 199 super chat for Super Viz for putting that WS cape on.
Well, get your broke ass out of here putting up $2. $1.99. You couldn't even put up a whole $2. Get your broke ass out of here, man.
Yeah, don't come at Viz. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Hey, watch out. Your broke ass out of here. $1.99.
Yeah, wow.
Look, I felt special one day. Lapeef made me a sponsor. I was like, oh, I did my stuff this show, huh?
Oh, yeah.
That's my first time. I felt special.
Yeah. I was surprised. I was like, damn, we can only come back on the panel.
I just wanted to show you I still support you. You know, sometimes I just be having to do stuff for my mental health.
Yeah, man, I had to share my thug tears. You know, I had to get the, you know, keep me a little tissue by me, you know, so I can. I got the mash, you know, when I get kind of full. Brano with the $1.49 super sticker. Thank you, Brano. He's been a sponsor too, man. He always looks out, man. I think he's making a statement with. It might have been for you, Viz.
Hey, $1.49.
I think that too. I started
laughing. The 199 and then
149. I didn't even know you could give 149.
Listen, I think at the end of the day, racism is wrong on both ends. I feel that there are better ways to handle things, and you know, not everything has to lead to violence, right? Someone that, like I said, I trained jiu-jitsu for a long time, and one of the ways we were taught was how to deal with situations without having to hurt somebody. So, with that being said, you know, none of us in this panel condone violence, just as much as none of us on this panel condone racism. Viz, I understand exactly what you were saying. I get your point. And I understand that you are not supporting racism. So we're going to make that very clear to the chat. The only thing that I will say that it is wrong to sit there and talk to children. There are better ways to say things to children, especially if it's not your own, maybe even addressing the parents. That could do a whole deal. But, you know, it is sad. Someone did lose their life. A child did lose his life over the Carmelo Anthony case. We will figure out what is going on within that. But at the end of the day, let's not take away from the victim that did end up no longer being able to also say his point as well, because he is not here to give us insight on what he experienced, right? There's always two sides to every coin. So just as much as Carmelo might have something to say and have his story, there's still another story that gentleman might not have been able to say because he's no longer here. So we do show support and sympathy for the family that lost their child.
Yeah, again, just to set
the difference between Carmelo's supporters and
there's not a difference. It's the same. It's the same people, in my opinion. Now, again, just to make this clear for the record, in neither cases I'm picking sides. I'm simply calling it out as it is. Both sides are wrong and what it is that they're doing and what it is that they're supporting, it goes against the very morals that a lot of these people stand for, but they're only doing it because they're being on code. And this is something that we're being told to do on the internet, much rather than paying attention and actually looking at the morality of what it is that we're doing. So all it is that I'm saying, in my opinion, that woman is wrong for what it is that she said to that young boy, and she deserves whatever it is that comes to her. And at the same time, as me once being a 17, 18-year-old young man, I believe and I believe that what it is that that young man did was wrong in escalating that situation to the point of where someone lost their life. So it's I can poke somebody, or I can throw these hands, and I can either lose this battle or I can win it. So what you choose and what it is that you decide to go with at that point, what life has taught us is that the decisions that you make, you have to reap what you sow. So whatever comes with that, you have to make your bed and you have to lay in that motherfucker. So for both sides, you have to lay your bed. You have to lay in the bed that you made. And again, in both sides, both people have the ability to go through the due process of what it is that we are under in this Constitution to either say this person is right or this person is wrong. And that's all that I'm saying. And I'll end now.
And that's the thing. I feel like a lot of people, like, once you realize at the end of the day, this isn't a race war. Like, it's a war between good and evil. Even thinking back to like slavery. Slavery didn't start based on, oh, we don't like these people, we don't want them here. Slavery started based on labor, money. They wanted people to work and not to do it for money. They wanted people to work for free.
And it's cheaper to take people from a different country that don't know any better and make them think that they're going to be going to the promised land, but reality, they're going to be enslaved for as many times as they want.
Exactly.
100%.
Like, it had nothing to do with race. I feel like before that time, like, and that's the thing, there were black people here. That's what people are failing to realize. There were black people already here. They had their own land. They had crops. They had farms. Like, they had their
whole
own
heap
stuff.
of them.
But once that law was passed, all of that went down the drain because certain people wanted more money, wanted more power. It had nothing to do with race. So I think once a lot of people take that idea out of it and they realize, like, hey, we're all people at the end of the day, like, we'll be fine. And again, I think nowadays, like, a lot of people have a fetish with racism on our end and on their end. Once we just stop putting race and stuff and just realizing, hey, you did this to me and I didn't like that, that's when we'll be able to move on.
But it also starts with us too. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I've been through way more racial circumstances than I would like, than anyone would like. I mean, I was at a bar and I was waiting on my lift and I literally got called all sorts of racial slurs just from someone being drunk, just from me sitting around waiting for my lift, right? Being bullied as a kid, experiencing that. So it's just like, it's a little bit more sensitive to me when I hear these things because I experienced firsthand what it was like being a kid and getting told these things from an older generation than myself. So I didn't like that. So when I see someone doing it, I'm going to check it. And I think we all should. But at the same time, we have to also remember that it starts with us. If we want to make a change, we got to start by making that change. We got to start by doing things a little bit different. We can't be fit in these stereotypes that people keep putting us in. We can't. Otherwise, we're just going to keep giving them a reason to keep looking at us the same fucking way every freaking time. At what point are we going to make that shift?
All right, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be quiet, Callie. I agree with what you're saying. I remember I had ordered an Uber, and as soon as I came outside, it was an older white man. Soon as that nigga seen me, he pulled the hell off. Right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I could go to a gas station in a community that I'm from that looked just like me, and niggas will be in there, man, fuck you looking at. Whoa. I would experience the same exact feeling from somebody that looks just like me. So I think the point that I'm trying to make in that is that there's people on both sides that are just not simply good people.
Mm-hmm.
There's just simply evil people out there that's looking to prey on someone, that's looking to judge someone
Mm-hmm.
just off of their appearance.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be a person that looks just like you or a person that looks nothing like you.
Mm-hmm.
You
So
just
I
empathize
think
with the ones that don't look like us.
I don't give a fuck about that.
No,
What I care about, and the only thing that we should care about is the fact that this is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. That this is a thing.
It is.
So
It is.
that's my whole point.
Yeah, I know. I'm not doubting you.
If I can't go to a gas station, these black women that's on the panel, I'm pretty sure that there are gas stations that you avoid. Probably not Dad. You from the West Side. You used to it. You probably get off from.
But my cousin be telling me don't stop there. She be like, keep going.
Right, but you get off of it. You're comfortable with it. But there are some black women that are not comfortable with that, and they won't go to a gas station in a community to where I don't feel comfortable walking in here because of the niggas that's posted up in front of it. Exactly. It's no difference from us going to a sundown town, as they say. So it's the same exact type of people with the same exact mentality that are in both of these communities. So I think that that's the bigger problem, much rather than us looking at what racism is. A wise man once said that, how do we get rid of racism? You stop talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe that. So until we get to that point, we're going to continue to have these situations as to where we have these very situations where people are clearly picking sides solely off of staying on code. And I'll land now.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I'm just gonna say, if it was a white boy in the same position, I would say give him his. I wouldn't say that it was racially motivated. I wouldn't say that. I would say let's look at the facts. Let's go to the law. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that I'm giving this. I think this. I'm giving this black boy this opportunity, or I'm supporting him, or not calling him guilty because of he's black. No, if it was a white boy in the same situation, I would do the same thing, and I would say the same thing.
But that's the thing. I feel like media turned it into something different. Because like we had a similar situation in Philly not too long ago. But I feel like in their town, maybe like it was just like, oh, like he unalived him. But as soon as it got brought to the internet, that's when people were like, you know what? When this happened to little black kids, y'all don't do nothing. Like, you know, and I think like a lot of people were mad at the treatment and everything that happened because of that. On both sides, because like if you think about it, like they put up a GoFundMe page to get him out. People sent like over thousands of dollars. I think last time I checked, it was up to 175,000. Oh, it's higher. Okay, it was higher than that. So people were taking that and like saying like, why are you getting this criminal out? Things like that. And then something similar happened with like a white boy. And people did the same thing on his side. So I think people just need to like, we're gonna support our people regardless. So at the end of the day, I think the media and people in general just need to stop making it about race. Like it had nothing to do with race. Like last time I checked, they said it was over a chair or something like that, a seat or something. So why are we saying this is racially motivated? It doesn't make sense. Like I doubt he walked in there and it's just like, I'm gonna kill this little white boy. Like I don't think that's what happened.
And that's exactly why I said it's too different, because we have racism blatantly shown in our face, and then the other one we're still finding out what the whole root cause of the situation is. The reason why we think it's the same is because someone decided to throw racism and make it about that, but that doesn't necessarily negate the fact that might not even be That's probably not even, that's probably way more further from the truth than what we're seeing in our face today. The difference between someone coming up to you and telling you I'm a racist besides someone just assessing the situation and making assumptions. So, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, we all have things we need to work on as a community and as a whole. Listen, yeah, we may not have chose to be in America, but we're here. And, you know, to the other cultures and things like that, you guys are here too. So let's find a way to coexist. Let's find a way to be good neighbors. And let's find a way to, you know, you ain't got to like me all the time, but you're damn sure going to respect me. And I'm going to make sure I reciprocate that. And that's all that matters, because that is what's going to get us from going here to actually elevating, because that's what our ancestors wanted for us. That's why Martin Luther King marched. That's why we had Malcolm X. You know, they wanted us to commingle with everybody, not to continue to be segregated and keep repeating the same things over and over. My bestest friend in the whole wide world is white. She's had my back way more than anybody. So I will never talk down on any other culture, because my I'm the godmom of her daughter. Her daughter is white. And I'm her godmother, so I cannot sit up here and trash talk white people when I'm a godmother of a white child. I will never do that. Love that baby to death as if she was my own. So like I said, we just need to learn how to commingle. We're not always going to get it right, but majority of us need to start thinking a little bit more logically and less emotionally. Because I think it's when we get into our emotions and our feelings about certain situations that we start to really wrongfully assess situations, and we're not thinking, we're just kind of just doing off of what our past was, or our ancestors' past. We're not there anymore. We have a shot now. Let's take it, utilize it.
Exactly. And like we have to realize it is us sometimes too. Like, for example, the whole George Floyd situation. People can scream up and down all day. That was racially motivated. But they had a past. A lot of people don't recognize that. They both worked together at a club years prior. They both knew exactly who each other were. So we don't know what really happened. Like, maybe they had an altercation back then and he just wanted to get his get back. Like, you never know. We got to stop screaming like, oh, this is racist. They did this because of X, Y, and Z. If that person didn't come out of their mouth and say that, then we don't know. No.
Period.
All right. Oh, we have a couple more super chats. Rado came back and followed up with that $179 with the $10 super sticker. Prophecy Savior, $5 says, one thing Callie gonna do is let you know she got hands, LOL. Try her if you want, she said, LOL. Out here serving 2-piece and a biscuit with no beverage. So Will, also remember $4.99 says, y'all need to read the Cornerstone speech before saying slavery has nothing to do with race. I Life Entertainment $4.99 is another super chat for Superviz for crashing out and getting in his feelings. I should be close to $100 over tonight in super chats, my brother.
I don't know about $100, but I appreciate that $4.99. You ain't get a whole 5, but we'll take the $4.99. I'll spot you the penny.
All right, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Thank the panel as well. So make sure we support each other all around. And y'all have a good rest of your night. And we are out, man. We live tomorrow, Thursday show. Make sure y'all tune in and tap in. 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern, and 7 o'clock Pacific. Got it right. We out, y'all.